Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast, and today we're live again, day 3 after the Pokemon Legends ZA trailer. We had a year gap. We finally got a new trailer for Legends ZA. We got so much information in this. The starter Pokemon Megas are returning. We also now know about Pokemon Champions. This is a new battle simulator game that's coming next year. We're going to be talking about all of this, as well as a lot of speculation, I think, about the starter Pokemons, what they might turn into, Megas perhaps, regional forms perhaps. We get a lot to discuss today right here on Hidden Power. My name is DustyGogoat. I'm also with Trader Lumi.
Hello.
SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
And we got 2 special guests, big fans, returning guests to the podcast. We got Infamous Trainer right here. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Well, happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Thank you for being here. And we got Hoops in Hip Hop.
Yo, what's up? Happy to be here as always. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you guys. Good to see everyone in chat right now. This is going to be really fun. Hope you guys have rested up. Okay, I want to just get into it, but yeah, maybe you guys can just tell the people real quick, like who you are. Just kind of give an introduction about who you are, just real quick. Hoops, you can go first.
All right. Well, for those that don't know me, I'm Hoops. My channel on YouTube is called Hoops and Hip Hop. Obviously, Pokemon dedicated stuff. I do a lot of Fakemon stuff, and obviously now I'm going to be talking lots of ZA stuff with that hype train officially on the rails.
Yeah,
so if you haven't seen my stuff, you can go check me out there.
Yeah, it looks like you have a brand new video right now that you put out 2 hours ago. It says, "Are these the starter evolutions in Pokemon Legends ZA?" Cannot wait to watch that after the stream.
Same.
And Infamous, tell the people who you are.
Well, hello. I'm Infamous Trainer. Some call me Infamous. Some call me IT or Jalil, whatever kind of floats your boat. I make content on Pokemon and Fakemon, kind of dipping into everything. And obviously, you're also riding this wave of the ZA hype. So really excited.
Love it, man. I'm so glad you guys are here. Let's get into it. Okay, Oh, yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
We talked about this before we started, but Infamous is literally less than 3,000 subs away from 100K.
Yeah.
So can we
so close.
throw some people over there and
Everyone
get him
go
to 100K?
100%.
Go
I'm gonna
sub.
drop his link again.
Get
man.
this man to 100K.
Please, dude.
Like this is
that is the goal.
Yeah.
That is the goal.
This is one of my top life goals at this point. Is I want to hit 100K,
yeah.
get that button, I just get that self fulfillment, and then just start pushing for the next level. Man.
I mean,
I'm
you're
excited.
definitely getting it. You're definitely getting it. King Nito, thanks.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for being a legendary tier member, King Nito. Thank you so much for all your support over the year. They write, all you legends adding to this Pokemon hype cycle with the constant output. Love your work. Thank you, man. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into it, guys.
Go follow Infamous Trainer.
Yeah, please. I've
Yes.
seen you guys. I've seen the reactions to the starter Pokemon. How are we feeling? Are we getting?
Just starting off like this.
Let's start off with
Starting
Jaleel,
off
because
like
I saw his reaction.
Yeah,
and he
a lot of
was,
violence. I'll say that
he had a
much.
good
crashing,
take, yeah.
bro. I was crashing out,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
I'm not thrilled. Clearly, I don't know.
So the starter Pokemon are Chikorita, Totodile, and Tepig. These are a new collection of starter Pokemon that players will have for Legends ZA in this new Kalos experience. Kind of weird, right? There's 2 Johto starters. They're right here. And so what are your opinions, Jaleel?
I feel like maybe it's just the cultivation of it being 2 Johto starters is like the initial, like, why 2?
Yeah.
Chikorita, I'm gonna be honest, I don't care about because I wouldn't choose it anyway. I don't. It's
So you're not
fun.
like offended by it.
I'm not offended, but like also, why is it here? I just don't like Chikorita. It's this whole thing.
Bayleaf because of Meganium, dude.
Who cares? All right, Bayleaf is only good in
okay.
the anime.
I
Dog.
care.
That's the only time Bayleaf is good, and then even outside of that, it's just fine, I guess. But like Totodile, it's a really weird mark because I feel like it's super imbalanced, right? Out of the 3, Totodile is winning every poll and conversation, usually by a landslide, right? For obvious reasons.
I think so.
I haven't seen one that it hasn't won.
And to me, I'm like, the obvious choice here, and maybe just because I guess we can formulate this. Legend so far is not showing patterns, but formulas, and maybe that's just more of what that is going to be going forward. But I feel like Totodile, not needed here. You could have done Sobble, and I think it would have been a more balanced trio, or Popplio. I've seen that one being used a lot too.
See, that's crazy you say that. That's crazy you say that because I'm like, Totodile is the one I want. Totodile is great.
Yeah, really?
That's the one that people want. I mean, I think
that's the one I wanted.
I'm becoming.
I literally said
I like them all
numerous times before Pokemon Day. I said, and I wasn't proud of it, but I said if Totodile or Snivy is not in the lineup for ZA, I'm gonna be upset with the starters. And I got Totodile.
I got nothing.
What did you want? What did you want?
We all have to be there at some point.
Pretty basic trio. I wanted like Snivy as the grass. Just being straight up, I like Snivy, and I was like, this is kind of too good to like not put in. Maybe I see why, because maybe it's already to the point of what it's going to be. I was gonna say that Scorbunny and Piplup, and I don't even like Piplup, but I would have took Piplup.
Yeah, like that is what everyone was predicting. That was the lineup.
I mean, that would have been a beautiful lineup. Let's just say. And I mean, I think Hoops actually, you put out maybe the first video on like those predictions.
Sure,
a lot of people had come up up with them as well. But it's just,
a lot of people were following the hype. I think it was either Hoops or maybe Michael. Maybe were the first two videos that I saw. I don't remember who was first, but and then everyone else copied it. But
one thing I want to mention with that though is I was as shocked as anyone else, especially because I like had that prediction going for so long, and it seems like how could they not do at least like Snivy or Piplup, like one of those two or both? It just is super surprising. And now that neither of them are there, one interesting thing I've seen brought up is that maybe the reason why they aren't is because they're already like so French inspired.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, then that kind of leads you to believe that maybe they're going to make these guys more French by giving them a variant or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, you're speaking my language. I feel like I've been screaming about that. I'm like, we're not going to get the most obvious French things. I think the beauty of this game is to take Pokemon into the Kalos region, right? The native Kalos starters are the ones that we get in X and Y. Bring new things into this region, right? I mean, we even see that we hear in the trailer that our player character is on a field trip to Kalos, or I'm sorry, to Lumiose City, right? Which is in Kalos. So that's kind of, to me, the setting of all this. We're taking a trip to Lumiose City, and these starters are also kind of out of place, right? And what I'm interested to see, and I think that's what we're going to talk about today, I'm interested to see how are these Pokemon now going to adapt to Lumiose City, or perhaps just with a Mega Evolution.
To Hoops' point, like we talked about it forever, this whole entire year, about like, are they going to get Megas? Are they going to get regional forms? It's like, if they're going to get Megas, then it's like almost a crime that it's not Snivy or Piplup, because it's like they would become more French than they already are. It's like they should be there. Like, but if these guys are going to get regional forms that become Frenchish or like city vibes or whatever, then that makes sense. It's just
I'm kind of in the camp that like I think both could happen. I feel like Megas are just, they make more sense just because that's kind of the focus of the game.
Yeah,
but that whole idea of like, it should be if the starters were going to get Megas, then it should be Snivy and Piplup, because then they can just add on to their Frenchness.
Exactly.
That's good.
These guys don't have Frenchness. I'm leaning a little more in the variant side of things.
The thing that Lumi would always say in contrast to, like, I would say, oh well, they're not French, or they're too French to be spotlighted. Lumi would always bring up that Samurott in Hisui is already really Japanese inspired as a samurai.
Literally a samurai.
It's already a samurai.
And it just kind of takes
They just did a different kind of samurai.
So, I don't know. At this point, I think you could argue that maybe these things are too cute, too dopey. They're like a little, they're just like, I think a lot of Pokemon fans tend to like things that are cool and that would look cool in the anime. It would be, like, and that's fine, right? There's a lot of us are guys, right? So we're like, we want the cool, edgy things. But these are like little dogs. They're like little puppies. I love it.
Little dogs.
Chikorita is not appreciated enough. Chikorita's not appreciated enough. Even
It's not
Tepig, I don't love
appreciated.
that much, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, it's kind of adorable. I think I like.
I need to
like
go
Tepig.
back really quick before you start this craziness. I just need
Okay.
to say that it also, I think the biggest thing that points to regional forms for them is that Cyndaquil got one in Hisui, and so now they have like, why are there 2 Johto ones? Well, if they get regional forms, then they will complete a regional form trio with all of the Johto Pokemon.
Yeah,
and that would just leave.
And
Tepig would get one. That would just leave Snivy.
See,
know?
I gotta
ask that
push.
too.
Yeah, I gotta push back. I think this is stupid. I've seen this everywhere, and I think it's completely irrelevant. I don't think it matters at all. I think the starter Pokemon as a trio is only relevant in the region that they are in.
But you have to think of it like this: if we get a Johto game in the future, that's like a remake, and then they put them in, and Totodile and Chikorita get nothing, and Cyndaquil still has its regional form. Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't think they're gonna get the forms though, because if we get a
might
Johto,
not,
I mean,
but I'm just saying.
I hear the thought process, and I'm seeing it everywhere the last 2 days, and I kind of just like, I think it's irrelevant. I think we're thinking about the wrong thing. I don't think that makes sense, because in Johto, we're going to get the Johto starters, and they're not going to get regional forms. They're just going to be Johto starters. However, if these things get megas,
Has
and
that
there
happened
are...
with the Kanto starters, though? Has that happened with, like, other starters that get forms? I don't know. We haven't had
yeah, well, well, Charizard has 2 forms. That's
Charizard's 3 forms.
Yeah,
He's a
that's
special
exactly.
case, as
That's
is.
unfair, right? You could say that's unfair, and also, I mean, this was later remedied, but originally for a whole year, Blaziken was the only Pokemon with a Mega Form, right? Out of the Hoenn starters. But I guess my point is like, we only know the starter Pokemon as a trio, like when they're paired up, because we have the knowledge of those regions. But if this is your very first Pokemon game, this is a starter trio. These can all be a pair uniquely
This
by
is your
themselves.
first Pokemon game. They erased Cyndaquil.
It just occurred to me that
But you know what I'm
He's
saying? Like, if
gone.
someone picks this
He's
up for the
now
first
a
time,
pig.
like Cyndaquil, Hoops, sorry. Cyndaquil doesn't exist. This is the
already got his
trio
shine.
for Kalos, right?
He did get his little.
He
I
was.
don't know.
I saw a little comic that someone did on Twitter, and
So
they
many
said
good
that
ones.
like all the Johto starters were getting ready to go to Kalos, and then Cyndaquil just got yoinked by Arceus, and he said,
Yeah.
"Nah, I need you to go to Hisui." So he's
Yeah.
actually the chosen one.
I love
Dude,
that.
I love the
I like that
memes.
lore. That's
I
good.
love the memes. Like I saw one where it was like, Legend ZA be like, and it was like they did the Hotel Transylvania where he's going Hotel Transylvania, but they put AZ like his hair on him.
Yeah.
And then they said, meanwhile in Legends Arceus, it shows like this person crying over like a decapitated Ray while a Paris is sitting there like feasting on his head or something. Like,
Oh,
Yes,
the
Some
difference
intense
between the
stuff.
two games. Well, that's what I'm saying, because that's the difference between the two games. You have Legends ZA is like, you work at a hotel, and Legends Arceus is like, you're stranded in the wilderness, out of time.
fighting for your
I
life.
is
every
angry
day.
with you,
Yeah.
I think my biggest point is like, these starter Pokemon, we're just getting a glimpse at them, and I think in the context of this game, I think they're gonna play different, and I also think they could evolve to have a different final form, whether that's a Mega Evolution or an evolution into a regional form. We don't really know, or something maybe completely different. There's also a possibility of it being not a regional form of an existing evolution, like it's not going to be regional Meganium, but it might instead be regional, fairy like a fairy type Pokemon that's not Meganium, but it is its final form.
That's some name right there.
Like an
official
Obstagoon.
Is that the official name?
I was trying to work the
was
type.
that leak.
Yeah, that was the leak. That was the leak.
Meganium. You heard it.
Like, so we don't know what this is going to be.
I don't see it. I think it's way too far-fetched.
I'm kind of in that boat with Soul. I feel like again, I don't think we've established that this game is not following a pattern, but I think there's a formula to how they want to craft these games going forward, or at least an idea of what the skeletons will look like. I think the starting point of that is taking starters that are not traditional to that region, putting them in, right? Because I know a lot of talks about this. We're like, we're just gonna have Kalos starters, and like, if that's the case, if they revealed this and it was just the Kalos starters, this game is getting a 1-point demotion off of it. just for me. Because I was like, at this point, I'm just creating my XY team with a couple of new Pokemon.
I would have felt exactly the same, bro.
We did not love it, right? We got these starters, and while I do not like them, I at least do appreciate the idea that this will give me a new Kalos experience.
Yes.
And I'm open to that. I think that's fantastic. I'm definitely leaning, I guess, more in that camp. Same with like Hoops of, I think these, or maybe he said that's regional forms versus megas for these Pokemon. But I think it's also just due to the part of like how do you go back? And I know like you're saying like, hey, it kind of solidified its own thing in this Legends trio. But then just for like future game installment, when you think of like Pokemon Champions later, how do you balance it out? Because just now these are just, you're creating more balanced trios throughout just the rest of Pokemon's history, unless you go back and retcon these Pokemon later on. And how long does that take, right?
I think
each one. Blaziken's a year, but like in another instance, the next Legends game is gonna be 2-3 years out after Gen 10. So like we're talking, that's a pretty large gap to like make sure you're dividing Pokemon this far.
I just don't think Game Freak's thinking about it that way. Like I think I get it, because like in our minds, I just think we're biased. It's like I feel like the conversation all week has been, we're old heads trying to process these new things that are disrupting what we already knew. You know, like a lot of what we do is like categorize Pokemon into regions, into collections, into whatever, right? Like honestly, Hoops, most of your like your YouTube videos are around like, what if this group of Pokemon had this new factor? Like, what would that mean then? And it does get messy when you start messing with that stuff. But I just don't. I don't think Game Freak cares. I mean, going back to like, let's say Gen 4, right? You know, Jinx and Magmar and Electabuzz used to be a trio. In Gen 4, they're not. You know. And that happens. We see that all the time. Generation 6, Slowbro got a Mega Evolution. Slowking didn't. Like, I just think it happens, you know?
I think you have a little bit more room to play around with those. Jinx also was canceled, so like we can't really
valid.
Like, put that
valid.
forefront.
Not really
But even so, like I guess you could say they slightly made up for it a little bit. The Mega Slowbro is not like a super popular Mega, but they did like make sure like, hey, if we're gonna give attention to one, we're gonna give attention to both in Galar, right? Giving them both regional forms. Mega Slowbro's Mega Slowbro. I can't defend that because I don't even like that.
Oh, I love it, dude.
It's a little too goofy for me. But,
I like the goofy.
I think for like just the later installment, I'm like, this is just, it kind of sucks just knowing like, hey, there's a pair that's just going to be unbalanced. And I know like, hey, you're going to have a Swing Typhlosion, a Mega Meganium, a Mega Froligan. I'm like, this just ain't it.
Yeah.
This just doesn't hit the same, right? Because I feel like you could have just had that. And imagine like for merchandising later, you just like release like a regional Johto pack. And it's just like them from their different, you know, I don't know, maybe just things like that on the marketing side that I could see.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's all over. There's a lot of ideas and a lot of things you could work in, take out. But I think for later pairings, I think that would just look a lot better. Like, versus just like, hey, you get a Mega, you get a Dynamax form, and you get this. And it's like, bro, you were all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's actually a little bit of both, because I totally see what Dusty is saying as far as like, I don't think they give too much weight to like the semantics of like making sure everything is even and perfect and everyone gets their thing or whatever. But at the same time, there is clearly a reason why they did 2 Johto starters. That's not an accident that they did that. Yeah. So I think whether that has to do with the fact that Cyndaquil got his form already, that it's hard to say, but I do think there's a reason why. And another thing,
maybe that's a remake, like Soul was saying. Maybe it is a remake down the line, and they just wanted to prepare that. We're not getting the Unova remake, but maybe the Johto game is coming up, and they want to make sure that each of the starters have something special in that regard.
Yeah, I was like, that made me, when I realized that there was actually 2 of them there, because it took me a minute to process that.
Yeah,
I was like,
me too.
I was kind of thinking in the context of like, okay, well now we've got all of the Johto starters represented in a Legends game. They're all going to have something special to them now. It kind of made me wonder, what does that mean for a soonish new Johto game? Because like, now they've covered all the starters in recent games. So like, are they going to be doing a game fairly soon in Johto, or does that mean it's like further down the line? Like, I feel like there's some undertones there. So
I think people that love Johto, like you and I, we're waiting, bro. And this is just to keep us like holding us over. Basically.
I was thinking that earlier.
They keep giving Johto like a lot of attention, but I just think it's because like
nothing's coming.
The potential time frame for it would be like 2027 or 8, and it's like 18 years since since Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Like, that's a long time that we haven't been back to Johto. So instead, they're like, well, here, get all these new evolutions. Get make them the megas. You know, like, because we're eating when it comes to these starters, but that's it. Right. I also had another idea when we were just talking about this, which is, what if they give them megas in this, right? And then we get the Johto remake, and then they give those two guys regional forms there with Hisui and Typhlosion. Do you know what I mean? So like they just give them megas now, and then we just get like a double portion of they get
that'd be
regional
sick.
forms
That'd be sick.
I think that's fine, long as there is like some kind of balancing at some point. I think it's just maybe it's just more of just again maybe the old you know,
because in the past
style, like brain thinking.
Because in the past, like things usually were like this happens and then this happens and then this happens, and it just made sense, and it's nice. It feels good. Our human brains are like, I like patterns. I like when things match up.
They've never cared much about fairness, though. You know what I mean? Like, even last game, okay, you have Hisuian Samurai and Hisuian Typhlosion and Decidueye. Nothing for Primarina and Cineroar, all the others. Even now, if Emboar does get a regional form, well, Snivy's the odd one out. And then, like, you have Slowbro gets a Mega Evolution and Glalie gets a Mega Evolution, okay, but, you know, Slowking and Frostlass didn't, at least not yet. You know, but I don't know. I just think like I think also too Game Freak looks at Mega Evolutions and regional forms and new Pokemon. They're not breaking it up like that. They're thinking of it as designs. Because if you even look, the X and Y dex is so small, but it's because you had so many Mega Evolutions to like, you know, kind of make up for the missing Pokemon, so to speak. Yeah. And so I think like they're thinking, okay, yeah, for Alligator and Meganium do need something, so we'll give them Mega Evolutions. And to us, that's the same because they got a new design just like Typhlosion did.
Valid.
And really quick, just to take one step back, I know we were talking about Johto things. Obviously, like I'm not a fan of Johto, but I feel like as they've been like incrementally just adding more stuff to Johto, like Weirdeer and Ursaluna and these like new evolutions, new forms and things like that over time, it seems like Johto's definitely in the far future, but I think for someone like me, this could enhance the experience later, because I do feel like even Heart Gold Soul Silver for me, it's kind of lackluster, and I don't care about going to Kanto. It's like it does not appeal. It's just I don't care that much. Like, bro, you're taking me back where I was, dog. What are we doing? So I like the idea of cool. Hey, let's take you back to Johto, but now you have so much extra stuff to build up. Because I love Ursaluna. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. Yeah. I think Weirdeer is really cool. If you touch on Ladian in this game, dog, it's like you're
Mega Ladian,
like 2 points up.
Holy cow!
It's the dream, bro.
Pokemon, and then when that installment comes later, you're like, cool. Here's like the even more definitive Johto experience that I think like someone like me who doesn't like Johto can actually really enjoy.
Love it.
I love that. I love it because I want it. I want it badly. Jaleel, what I need to know, like what you hate about Johto so much. You don't have to go too in depth, but I just need to know because I love it.
So like I definitely played like Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I didn't even play like original Crystal Gold or Silver, like just because it wasn't like in my time exactly. But I did play Heart Gold, Soul Silver actually when I kind of around the first time I started YouTube, like a couple months in. I was like, you know what? Why not experience this with the people? You know, let me give it a fair shot so no one can say, oh, Infamous, you didn't try. And I think like moments of it are fine, but I think it was some of the level scaling. I feel like maybe just because I'm also just used to how some of the newer Pokemon are, like playing some of the Pokemon in that game they feel pretty plain Jane.
I think Johto's a really slow experience. Johto is like literally it rewards you when you like just chill and like do all the daily tasks. It's honestly closer to Animal Crossing on the spectrum than it is to like most other like video games.
If it's that, maybe that is like a.
I really think that's what it is.
I'm like, I'm ready to let me get to the next gym, and like I don't know, maybe it's not like that. I am so spaced out from just when this game dropped originally. I'm just like, no, I'm just trying to get this done. Let me get to the next gym. Why does this character only have Kanto Pokemon? What are we doing? Who set this up? And then I feel like a lot of that just for me to get to the end. And then like, yeah, cool, you're going back to Kanto. Dog, I was already there. I've already experienced.
Like, bring me to Kalos. Bring me to Alola.
Yeah, like I would want something different. I feel like
it didn't exist at that point, so
the hype
it was just this.
Johto just kind of banks off of like, hey, we're going back to Kanto, and it's a little bit cooler. And it's like, dog, I could care less.
It's kind of the typical reason.
And is it cooler? Is it?
That's crazy.
To me, it's not. I honestly, if anyone were to go back, because I don't have the full playlist up, I have like in a section on my channel. I think at the end of like the last like stream I did, I was like, yeah, guys, I'm not playing this anymore.
Oh
like,
my God.
I'm done. I was like, I don't want to.
That's
I'm kind of
crazy.
done with this.
It's
game.
all about the content, though, man. You just get more content, you know,
Yeah,
more
I guess.
Pokemon,
I'm
and you
cool
get to
with
catch
that.
Johto Pokemon in Kanto. So anyway,
Yay, so they lost some of the few Pokemon that are new and not connected.
but you have to love
Kanto
them.
Pokemon
That's the thing is you have to
the
love
first game.
them.
Here's the thing: no one's talking about
I
this.
love Gen 2 design so much. Like I love them. So to me, it's and I grew up with it.
It's a
only
reward.
handful.
But
Yeah.
listen, you guys are forgetting that you can capture generation. You can catch so many Gen 3 and Gen 4 Pokemon in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. You really can.
So-
In
Yeah,
the
that's
post-game.
even the
Your final team could be Electivire, Mamoswine. It could be, I don't know. I don't even know what your
you can
favorites
push
are.
past that. I think
Yeah.
my team. I just tried to keep it more Johto specific. The only
Trading in
I guess
an-
adjustment to that was I had Ambipom. I think that was the only difference. I like Apom, and I was like, you're too weak to keep through the entire game.
That
now,
might
so
be
I
why you
gotta
didn't enjoy
evolve
the
here.
game. Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah, that might be
honestly,
why.
the team I did like the team. It's not my favorite team, but it's definitely not like my least favorite team. Like I had Iroh, which was my Typhlosion. He was awesome.
Nice, love
Espeon's my
that.
favorite
Uncle.
evolution. I got
Yeah,
the Dragonite
Uncle.
from the game corner, which also like just mentally and physically drained me. I got the Dratini. It took forever. I watched like 15 different videos on like how to get that thing.
Yeah,
And I liked the team. Also gave me like a new love for Dragonite in that same instance.
That's cool. That's what it's
but
about.
just encapsulated, I still put it like at the bottom of like my Pokemon experience. It's
That's
I will say though,
sad.
it's not like worse than like
Oh my
Let's
gosh.
Go or something. Like that's
That's
crazy.
good. At
worse.
least
It's-
that's good.
It's above
like-
Let's Go, but
It
it's,
is-
if someone laid out all the games, like which one are you playing? I'm not picking up.
Heart Gold, Soul Silver, I
That's
think,
crazy.
is one of those Pokemon games where, you know, it rewards you because it rewards you. It rewards exploration. There's so many things to unlock, to collect. There's NPCs from other regions that show up in the game. There's legendaries that you can get at the end of the game. And I think a lot of those aspects, like, it just rewards a long play session. And I think when it comes to a
Content.
Pokemon game,
Content.
yeah, it's content. And it's not
my favorite things.
it's not content because you're just consuming it. It's content because you're like, you feel like you're you're living in the Pokemon world. And that's what I like in a Pokemon game. Like, to me, I'm way less transactional. I'm not like, let me just play through a game really quick. I'm like, no, I want to take my time. I want to like go pick all the apricorns. I want to bring them to Kurt and get 5 new Pokeballs every day. I want to call up the Picnic or Liz or whatever and battle her Nidoqueen for the 5th time or whatever. Like that's the stuff that I like in a Pokemon game.
Yeah, different.
So
experience.
honestly,
I came
it
in,
really-
put the
that might be
hat
the
on, I
set-
was like, I'm here to battle.
No, totally. And that might be the separation and why a lot of people don't like Johto. Anyways, Hoop.
I
Hoops,
didn't
you have
mean
any
to
thoughts on
derail us.
Yeah. No, this is good. It's a good clip.
I also want to ask you, Jaleel, just
content.
one last question.
Yeah.
I need to know your process when you saw the starters. Like, how did you just
Yeah.
just
So, there was a
relive it?
lot.
You've
Relive
never seen
for
the
us.
stages
right?
of grief, Soul?
Oh, I mean, I have a
Just
pretty
relive
empty
it for
water
us.
bottle. We can reenact the whole thing. Dude, it's just
Gonna put that thing in a
so-
museum.
It's somewhere like in the back of the room. I threw it back eventually, but yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, like I'm sitting with the other Rockets. We're like all watch this together, so they're in my ear. I'm kind of reading the chat, but I'm also trying to watch this at the same time. I'm like, all right, cool. We're gonna see these starters. It's about time. It's been a full year. I'm hyped to see what they got cooking for us. Chikorita, and like my brain, like it saw Chikorita first. So I'm already in like dissatisfaction. If there's like levels, I'm in dissatisfaction. Tepig, dog, what's going on? Totodile, unsatisfied. I'm just like instant, like, yo, this is what we got. You couldn't have gave. It's like almost was a personal attack on me. It was like, what is Infamous not like? Do all those. I have kind of settled on an option as of like just an initial.
Okay.
Oh
Looking
wow! I
at
thought
the
you were gonna
starters.
box them for sure.
See,
You gotta let it digest.
I did initially say that, and I'm like not opposed to it because when we were talking, I know me and Zach were like, maybe we just like box these bad boys and just wait till we go find.
That's
them.
fine. I do
It's
that all
like-
the time.
What-
You
only
can,
Brody,
you can do that.
Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle will probably be there
Like-
too.
You'll
Like, I'm
probably
like-
get
to get
Torchic and
Infamous
Trico and
on-
Mudkip and their megas.
Yeah, like, I'm tempted on that, but if I'm like initially choosing one, I'm hopeful for Tepig. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Tepig hopefully should be one I like, I traditionally go with fire starters. I like Snivy out of that trio though of the Unova starters. Sure. But I'm sorry, Chikorita's a hell no. I'm slandering that Pokemon any chance I get. I'm not coming off that hate train. I don't care. And everyone's like, oh well, the design's gonna be fire. The text gonna be fire.
Just wait till the final design is like your favorite ever.
Bayleaf was like Ash's ace Pokemon in the Johto journeys.
And that speaks a lot because Johto's trash. So, like that season is like got very few. It is mostly filler with the Johto series. Dude. I don't even.
Again, I like that because it's like it's like a slice of life. That's what I love about the Johto journey.
I hate to break it to you, but Bayleaf was not his Johto ace.
I know it was. Yeah, obviously.
Of course.
Of course, it was Charizard.
I get it though. I was thinking about it because I was thinking about what we were going to talk about on this stream, and I was like, if it was Infernape and Sprigatito and Quaxley, I would be absolutely livid. I would be so upset.
because you hate those.
All three of those would be the absolute worst to me. So I'm putting it as like the same thing where it's two from one region, right? So Sprigatito and Quaxley, and then in Chimchar, and I'm just like, bro. No, that's
fair. Yeah, like I get it. Like there's obviously everyone has their favorite starter. Like obviously these Pokemon are loved in some capacity. They're just not loved by me. All right, so that's all it is. But I am hopeful, despite all of my like hate against these Pokemon. I'm not a huge fan of this trio. I am hopeful in the sense that I hope they can change my mind, give me a new perspective on these Pokemon that I'll actually want to use them. Because I do give like Legends Arceus like a major shout out. I don't like Samurott. I could care less. I initially was going to choose Rowlet and then have Hisuian Decidueye, but I had Infernape. There's no way I'm playing a Legends Arceus game with no Infernape. So the pairing though of Infernape with Hisuian Samurott, it was perfect. And then and I think it really catered to my experience. Like there's some of the Hisui team is one of my favorite because of that duo. Having Infernape and then throwing out my Samurott, just going back and forth. Like their names were sick. They were like Hijiri and Tundra. I was having fun with those Pokemon. It's easily some of my favorite pairings I've ever used.
I love that.
So hopefully Emboar or Feraligatr. I'm sorry, I'm not giving Meganium a chance if that is what the case is.
Meganium's gonna get like edgy, like how Decidueye became this like what do they call it? Like a Ronin, type like samurai or whatever. Meganium's gonna be sick.
Like it.
What if it gets a dragon type and it becomes a ferocious dragon?
Just teach my Feraligatr Ice Punch. We won't have to worry about it. It's fine.
Oops, what about you though with the starters? I'm curious as well.
So overall, they are like I'm okay with them. Mostly that's because I really like Totodile. So like as long as there's one that I really like I'm good. The other two, personally, like I know why they're not as liked by a lot of people, and they're probably on my personal like lower tier as far as my starter rank, but I don't dislike Tepig and Chikorita as much as like a lot of other people do. I feel like Chikorita itself I think is like it's perfectly good, and the reason why it's hated is because of Meganium. That's what I think.
And because it's not very good competitively. Like, people say it's bad competitively, but I'm like, who cares?
Right. Yeah. Right. And then Emboar and like Tepig, I historically have not liked Pignite, but other than that, I feel like they're perfectly like acceptable.
Yeah.
So like to me, I've got one that's really good with Totodile, one that's like acceptable with Emboar, and then Chikorita, which isn't bad itself. It's just Meganium kind of sucks as like as far as battling goes, and like its design isn't very exciting. So like it could be better, but like I got my Totodile, so I'm good. And like if you want to look like further down the line, we just knocked out two of like the worst quote unquote starters.
Yeah, that's true.
So the next Legends game is going to to be like,
fair point.
Good for you guys, bad for me.
I think one thing for Emboar, I think that added to a lot of people not liking the Pokemon, which I get, is it was the third firefighting, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's also people like they were tired of it at that point. They're like, bro, another one. Yeah. I've seen like the memes of people like, is Pignite gonna get Fire Ghost? Just
third Fire Ghost.
I'm like, please don't, please swap it up.
I hope they do.
That would be so funny if they did Fire Ghost. Oh yeah, that would be hilarious.
That would be interesting.
They probably learned from last time. They probably learned.
The funny thing about that is is that before we got Paldean Tauros, the Blaze breed, the only firefighting types that existed were those 3 starters. So it wasn't even like a common type combination at all.
Yeah.
It's just they did it 3 generations in a row.
It's actually a really powerful type. Like, I mean, it's competitively good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really
It's
just got
offensively really strong. Yeah.
it just got hated on because it wasn't. I don't even know if it was hated. It was just like it was like
Well, also
people were
too,
like wasted opportunity.
It's kind of a similar to thing as on Pheasant, where like
Yeah.
not only is on Pheasant our 5 billionth normal flying type, but also just in comparison to the past ones, it's not good. You're not picking
Swellow's right
Imbor
there.
for over
right there.
Infernape or Blaziken.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it doesn't help too with like that taking that unpheasant one, right? Is before that you have Staraptor, and then after that you have Talons. Like you have gas and gas before and after.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Literally,
it doesn't
yeah.
help
Yeah.
that Pokemon at all.
I really think a Pokemon's type is like so important to its identity, right? If you like, I don't think Unfuzzant's design is that interesting because, like you said, it is like we've seen it that typing so often. But if it had, I think this is gonna sound crazy, but if it had a fairy type, let's say, because I think we did a fairy type deep dive and it actually had some attributes of maybe what could define a fairy type. Like if it was flying fairy type, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this thing is one of a kind. It's up there with like Togekiss. That's interesting. I actually want to use this. It has a niche now in the game, in a unique identity. I think.
Well, that's why like a typing could save Embor, you know.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I want to hit some of these super chats and then we can move on. Rice Farmer, with the $10 says, and thank you for that so much. Says,
thank you.
Pokesutami just released a video proposing October 10th as a possible release date for ZA, since it's close to that of X and Y and the beginning of a 3-day weekend in Japan. Which would be cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna post about it later. 100%.
That'd be cool.
I watched it right before we got on here,
Cool.
but yeah, October 10th makes sense because fall and because it's like basically the X and Y release date, kind of.
I want to say October to November is not that big of a deal,
because I like it.
But yeah, actually, it being in the beginning of October,
It is a big deal because it's early.
almost
You figure
2
that's
months.
1/12 of the year.
Yeah,
that's
it's almost
1/12 of the year.
And
That's
not only that,
you know?
it's gonna leak like 3 weeks before that, so we're like September golden. I know a lot of people don't care about leaks.
No, well,
here,
not the
but
leaks,
for
but more.
me, that's when the game starts for me.
Yeah,
you know. So
and also it would actually coming out in October would mean we would get more trailers,
marketing sooner.
Yeah, which would be fun. Anagal X with the $2. Thanks for supporting. Says new starters get forms, old starters get megas, and I think they mean like these starters would get
these forms.
These would get
Kalos
regional
starters
forms.
get megas.
Yeah,
I'm in that same boat. I think it enhances the experience. I think that's that experience enhancer that I mentioned, because I think because me and Zach were going a lot, mainly me and him going back and forth. I'm like,
Zach Toshi?
how stage to do the starters? Yeah, Zach Toshi. And I was like, dude, imagine. And this was the instance when we had like Superior and the idea of that going on. I was like, bro, imagine my team like Kalosian, Superior, and a Mega Greninja. I'm having the time of my life. That was the idea. I think they could still obviously do that here, obviously just with the other stars that we now confirmed have.
Yeah.
And that just like
sadly.
is like, in my opinion, that would be the perfect scenario, because it was like kind of an injustice that the Kalos starters didn't get megas in like the game that megas were introduced. And obviously like you can look back and say, oh, it was because they were giving old Pokemon like a fresh coat of paint or whatever. Well, now these Pokemon are old, so there's literally no reason not to like bring that full circle and give it to them, and then complement that with these new starters getting variants. That's
Imagine they don't. They'll just like, actually, they're all really good as they are. So
you know what's crazy? The more
leave them alone.
The more I think about it, I actually, not because I kind of like the idea. It actually does make a lot of sense for these starters, because they're brought to Kalos to have regional forms.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. Yeah, they're not native to Kalos, so like,
they're not. But
they're
we don't
implied.
I mean,
no, we don't know anything for
thing
sure, but
too,
they're
though,
implied to be foreign, and I think that actually is a reason for why they should be regionals. I think at any point when a Pokemon is brought to a region, that is kind of that's the way that Game Freak is able to communicate, that this Pokemon is foreign, and also it undergoes change.
The difference, though, is that, like, with Hisui, that was so long ago in the past, and the region was literally different. Like it was called a different name. The geography was even very different. There were Pokemon that lived there, both new variants, new evolutions, and like just Pokemon like Paris that aren't in the Sinnoh Dex today that lived in Hisui. So it was a completely different region. So it made more sense that, okay, yeah, my Quilava evolves into a different thing than it does in Sinnoh.
Sure.
But with here, it's like, this is still modern day Kalos. It looks like it's, only a couple decades max after X and Y. And so it's like, in 20 years, is now suddenly Bayleaf now evolves differently here,
That's
it's
a good
possible,
point, because in
but
X
it's
and
less
Y,
convincing.
no, that's a good point, because in X and Y, you can bring these starter Pokemon.
All of these
starter Pokemon can go to Kalos, and they don't change.
But the question with that, though, is I'm pretty sure none of these starters are in the actual Kalos Pokedex. Like, you can transfer them in or whatever, and they can be in the game, but I think there's a big difference between that and them being in the Kalos Dex like, natively, as far as a regional.
Sure.
Yeah,
maybe
but to build on
my
that,
purest brain is like, but I can still bring in a Bayleaf
in X and Y.
level,
Yeah, why does it not change in this game?
Give it a rare candy in X and Y, and it evolves into a Johtonian. So it messes with my brain. The fact of the matter is,
Game Freak is pretty good about.
If they want to give it to them, they will give it to them. I just feel like it's less convincing than like with Hisui. I totally bought it. I was like, yeah, absolutely, this is so different. But like with this, I'm like,
well, I think there could be an element. There could, just to go off your point, Hoops, there could be an element in this world, in this version of Lumio City, right? Looking at these people on the screen right now, these evil folk, right? These suspicious humans. Where there's some sort of energy happening. There's some sort of, we see technology all over the city. Perhaps things have changed, and that's influencing the Pokemon.
Like that, and then the idea is that, what'd be cool about that is if it's like some kind of energy influence, something that like the villain team is doing, then I feel like then what they can do is they can make them not regional forms, but like functionally regional forms. But it's not because of the region. It is because of the
location. Well, Hopes, what are you going to say? Because I do kind of want to like segue us or add to this by segueing to us. But what were you going to say, Hoops? I'm sorry.
I was just going to say basically that if regional variance is the direction they want to go, like they can explain that discrepancy like a million different ways.
Sure.
Like you could say you could like give the starters some kind of like special item that helps them evolve into something new.
Yeah.
Or going back to Arceus, like it totally makes sense because the region's in the past and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But when I was playing Legends, obviously I picked Cyndaquil. I get my Hisuian Typhlosion, and it mentions in the Dex entry that like it's because of like the energy from Mount Coronet. And I couldn't help thinking to myself that like that I'm like that's fine with me as an explanation, but also like that felt kind of like a BS explanation as well.
No.
Like,
I mean,
it was just something they threw in there.
But that happens to Magneton.
Like, justify it.
That happens to Magneton. That happens to Charjabug. They both evolve because
the
of
issue is
because
that
of a
happens to Magneton in the modern day too. Why all of a sudden does Quilava? I'm with him. It isn't it? It's a
but the way I
that's a good
took it,
point.
it wasn't like as tangible as maybe something else where like like with like Vulpix, for instance, and it's a lowland form, like it's on the snowy mountain, so it adapts. So like they could come up with any number of explanations like that justify it, and like no one's gonna care how like much it makes sense because it's a video game, and
of course
we got our regional variants. So,
no, but it is nice when things make sense, and I think we care about it because in the past, Game Freak has been very careful to make things make sense in to not they tried to not retcon things for a very long time.
They
it wasn't
used
until
to literally, if they wanted to do a new evolution, they invented like a new method,
a new stupid thing
because they had to in their head, or like even the baby Pokemon are the best example.
Yeah,
they explain like
the
you have to breed Mr. Mime holding this incense to get a Mime Junior. That's why you've never like they always made a point to go out of their way to say it wasn't like this before because of this new thing.
Yeah.
But they have stopped that now because, like,
just got too
now
convoluted.
You have Eevee evolving with an Ice Stone and a Leaf Stone, Magneton evolving with a Thunderstone.
Feebas evolving with a trade item instead of actually doing
even
contests.
that was at least a new trade item. So
that's
that
a good
one
point.
was
Good point.
even better.
Yeah. But I think,
on that... sorry.
No,
Dusty.
go.
I just wanted to say on that note, this game, like, I'm praying to Arceus that it brings back the linking cord, so we don't have to
Dude.
actual trade evolutions.
So true.
Like that needs to just be a permanent thing. Period.
Yeah.
It should
and
be.
especially
I think
for
it
Legends.
will be.
So
I think it will be.
It'd be cool if not only they did that, but like maybe they even said like this is an invention of Quasarticos, because then like it kind of retcons in a way. It like makes you reinterpret like Legends Arceus, where like every time you were picking that up, it turns out that was specifically like from the next game, which I always like when they do that. I do think our next super chat kind of has an interesting point in this discussion.
Is this by Sky King?
Sky King, yeah.
Sky King with the $5. Thank you, man, for being just with us all weekend long. This has been great. You know, I say weekend, but it's only Saturday.
Yeah.
But we've been going since Thursday.
Because Thursday was Friday, Friday was Saturday, today's Sunday.
It's weird.
That means tomorrow's Monday, and I have to go back to work, I guess.
Yeah.
Sky King with the $5 says Pig Knight is firefighting. Do we think that'll affect new form potential? Do you think it would change types twice?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I think we brought that up maybe on another podcast. Lumi brought that up at some point, but I forgot about it.
Yeah, it was like before the starters even.
Yeah.
I
feel like you were like they can't do that because of.
I really think if they
They
get
can't, but I
megas,
feel like it was a point against it. But they can't. But they can.
Yeah, they.
I really think if they get
They can make Tepig evolve into Pikachu if they want, you know? I mean, at the end, they can do whatever they want.
do whatever they want. But I really think if they get megas, it's staying firefighting. Personally, that's what I think. Because megas just don't change.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think
even though
it
might make more sense. Sorry, I was just thinking that it might make more sense, like if it evolves into Emboar, and Emboar is firefighting, and then it changes types upon Mega Evolution. Kind of makes more sense than it just changing types with a regional form. But please continue. I just had to process that out.
No, that does make sense. But I was gonna say if they're getting regional forms, I feel like it would make more sense for Pig Knight to get the regional form too, which would be a new thing.
Right.
But I just feel like that flows a little more naturally than it getting fighting type and then getting like whatever new type it gets. So that's definitely like a key factor. So that's
that is interesting. I totally forgot that Pig Knight. I was like, all these are pure, right? Wait, no, Pig Knight is.
But they could do some weird stuff because we have seen that with Mega Evolution. We have seen like what is it, Altaria being flying dragon evolving to.
Charizard, that's a
Mega
starter.
evolving,
Flying the dragon.
Evolving into a fairy dragon, and then Charizard becomes fire dragon. Yeah, so we have seen it before.
And it's also not like if they did want to like change its type again and keep Pig Knight fighting type, that's really not that much of a stretch either.
No.
Because they've also done things like Cubone is ground type, but then Alolan Marowak is fire ghost.
Yeah,
which
true.
makes no sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
even
that would not
Dartrix,
be-
grass flying to grass
Dartrix
ghost or
and
grass fighting.
I think that's
Okay,
a
so we
prime
have seen it
example.
before.
Yeah, so we should be
Well,
fine.
this one, it is a
just
little
rare.
different.
It's rare.
Just because, like, at least with Rowlet, it was grass flying from the very beginning, and then it, changed. But, like, with, like, I see what Hoops is saying, where, like, it would feel more organic to have Pig Knight get a form, because, like, you have Tepig, pure fire, then suddenly it gets the fighting type, and then suddenly it loses the fighting type. So it's like, why did it even,
Yeah.
Let's segue a little bit. What megas are we looking for? We got a lot of talk in the chat right now, and I would love this Mega Raichu. Could we see Gorochu? What do we think?
No.
That would be a great way to sort of
That'd be
like
sick.
pseudo include Gorochu in the game by making it a mega.
What kind of megas do you guys want to see?
For me, like, I think Kalos needs love first and foremost. Like, give me Mega Heliolisk. I think that'd be gas. I don't even care what the typing is. It could be electric fire, it could be electric dragon, whatever the case may be. Just it needs something. I think Talonflame is due for a mega as well.
That'd be cool.
If you gave one to Pidgeot, you can give one to Talonflame.
Yeah.
So I think you can also dip into that.
They're the popular ones of Kalos, right? So like they should get it. You know what I mean? Because megas are like a lot of popular Pokemon get them.
I think it should also be said, especially on this podcast, that Gogoat I think is another.
Let's go.
prime
Hoops. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Lock it in.
It's literally like the symbol of the whole ride feature that's in X.
Bro,
and Y,
absolutely.
so.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a
Lumio
major
City too, like it's a symbol of
Right.
Lumios, which is the whole game.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's pretty. Look at, I mean, people dog on it, but like it literally almost has 100 base both attacks.
It's
kind of just a tank.
great
530
Pokemon.
is good.
It's got
It was
great
on my
stats.
team.
Yeah, all it needs is probably a wider move pool and preferably a more defense. Like if it got the steel type, it's game over. Steel type would be crazy on it, like Ferrothorn.
Yeah, it would love that flamethrower.
Dude, but it could take a.
It would take
Bro,
at that point.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah,
You give it, dude. You give it like what, high horsepower, and you give it some more speed, and maybe it takes out the fire type before the fire type can touch it.
Yeah, there we go. I think it learns Earthquake.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, right here. Level. It's literally. Oh my gosh, I can see you getting the ground type. Grass ground. It learns Bulldoze.
I mean, that
Earthquake.
would
makes
make sense.
Yeah.
Grass rock even.
It's funny.
think-
It always looked like a normal grass type, but it's not. Thank God.
That
think
base stat
too-
total though is
Good.
literally that's literally what the totals are for the final starter evolutions. So
Dude,
it's
are we done? Come on.
Oh, that's
equivalent
like
to that.
perfect.
Come on, dude.
so
I picked a. Okay, that's great. I love that.
I feel like too, Joe should get some love. I'm still in this like mega Ladian camp. I just want that Pokemon to get love, dog. Like just one thing, because they clearly been showing love to Johto Pokemon. Continue that love. Like there is still like some gaps in Johto that I think could. And Ladian's my number one. Change his typing. Don't change the typing. I don't. Just give it something. I think it's overdue.
I don't know that a Mega can save Ledian. I think
It
I
doesn't
think
matter,
It needs an
Pre-
evolution.
To me, my idea for it though is something else, which I've kind of been working on. But it's like I think that Pokemon is one like Palafin. It deserves a hero form. Personally, that's just me.
Sure.
I think that would be cool.
sick. That actually
Yeah.
would be sick.
That would match more. Of
I
the
would
energy of the
freak
Pokemon.
out, bro. I'd freak out.
Yeah,
I'd
and you
actually
just like
lose it.
give it U-turn, and it just
Yep,
yeah, flip turn on.
Just make it like
Palafin.
Super
crazy.
Super Sentai,
I
and it's
love that.
fine. I think that'd
I
be
Bro,
love
sick.
how can we disagree on Johto so much but agree on this?
on Ledian.
Ladian,
I think it's
It was
Ledian's
the
really
one
just
thing
the-
Jalil enjoyed.
I've always
I
seen
think-
Ladian as like a sidekick to Scizor. It's like Scissor's little
That's
brother.
fair. That's fair.
He's
I think
perfect
it's kind
though.
of-
I
Yeah,
love
he's the Robin.
I will
Just kidding,
also
just kidding.
say that I also like Ledian too, but I think it's hilarious that Jalil hates everything about Johto, but the one thing he likes is one of the most hated Pokemon in
It's
true.
I feel
He's
like mainly-
adorable.
it's adorable,
I
but I think it
respect
just
it.
has so much potential. I think it's just. Otherwise, it's garbage. I mean, I'll just
Yeah.
be frank. It's
The
a garbage
stats are-
Pokemon,
stats
but
are
because
so
of the
garbage.
stats.
Lediba.
Bro,
Right,
it's
when
got
I-
legendary special defense, at least.
Yeah, but to me, it's like when you look at a Pokemon like Palafin, base form, you're like, dude, if they can do that, imagine what
Yeah.
a lady can get. You tie in the Super Sentai, Power Ranger inspirations. You have so much you can pull from that, and there's a lot of like Sentais that look like bugs, that look like Ladian already. Like it's just perfect, and then you can pair that up with low kicks, right?
Yes.
Making a duo, dude. It's to me, that's just like
That's
cherry on
huge.
top.
That's
That'd be
huge.
huge.
I'm crying now.
We got a super chat by Red. Hope you're doing well, Red. Thanks for hanging out with us. With the $10, says, can we also make the fairy types easier to evolve? Literally never used Swirlix or Spritzy because of that. Also give them megas. Yeah,
trade
that's the thing about megas. Yeah, they're trade evolutions
Trade
for
with
like
an item.
Garbage.
But it's like the thing about trade evolutions. I'm replaying Leaf Green right now, and I kind of had a realization that, like, most of those older games growing up, we would play them, and you would just play with Kadabra, with Haunter, Graveler. You didn't evolve it because you couldn't for limitations of like not having a link cable or whatever, and that was kind of just the default Pokemon. And I'm playing through Leaf Green, and I get a trade going, and all of a sudden I'm using Graveler for Golem for the first time, and it is so powerful. It feels, because it was so difficult to get, it feels like I'm using a legendary Pokemon. It feels like something that I had to like unlock. I've earned it now, and that's all fine. But I guess I'm saying all this because I think Swirlix in Spritzy's evolution, or are those the evolutions?
Aromatisse and Slurpuff. are the
Yeah.
evolutions.
Those don't feel like legendary Pokemon. They feel like like they don't feel like a proper reward for that level. of
Aromatisse
investment.
is Soul's favorite Pokemon. Be respectful.
No, I hate that so much, but it actually makes so much sense now. I didn't even think about this because I had forgotten. I haven't played through X and Y until from a long time ago. But I would rather keep them as their first stage. Like I would not want to evolve either of them. Both of their first stages are better to me than the evolution.
Pretty adorable.
Spritzy,
Really
especially.
good.
I love Spritzy. Like
Spritzy.
Spritzy is a phenomenal design, and then Aromatisse is there.
Yeah, I love Slurpuff though too. It grew on me a lot in recent years.
There's a lot of great fairy types,
Snorlax.
And I just feel like those two were like the worst way to introduce the fairy type.
Yeah. We got Xerneas though.
Yeah, we did. That's true.
I've been wanting. I've been like, this has been recent because I knew this wouldn't happen, but then I started wanting it, and now like I'm married to the idea, even though I know it's not going to happen. That's a Mega Gudra, but they just gave it a Hisuian form, so I know like it's.
Wait, have you given up on Mega Dragonite?
He's given up.
Yeah, dude, I've given up on Mega Dragonite ages ago. Like,
honestly,
whatever. Bro. You don't like Dragonite. I get it, Game Freak. Move on, you know?
Hey, stay firm. I'm in the boat. I think, obviously, I've heard arguments for this one because, like, Dragonite is the OG, right? It doesn't need anything. It's so good, it doesn't need anything at all. But it doesn't. But imagine how much more cooler it would be.
Oh, yeah.
If it did. And I
you know what?
I like it.
You know what, too? It got its form that it needed, like, to make it, like, super, like, just competitive monster, and that was Terra Normal. So, you know.
That's also true.
All I'm saying is they just had that, they just had the animation thing that they just did for Pokemon Day, and that was the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I heard it was really good.
It was good, but they should have revealed beautiful. If there was a Mega Dragonite, it's like, okay.
Do it there,
maybe we
right.
reveal it there.
To do it.
That reminds me, too, I was thinking, like, you know how, I don't want to say all of us and like rope, you know, Infamous and Hoops into this, but all of us three, you know, we watched Worlds in last year in hopes that there would be like, you know, maybe something ZA. And I was kind of on the train that there wouldn't be ZA information because it's not a competitive game. Same reason that we didn't get information on Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. But, you know, I was thinking, how cool would it be this year at Worlds if no ZA information, but they give us Champions information and they show a new Mega in Champions. So it's like you know, Legends Reveal 2.
Sure.
They just show it in Champions.
That would be crazy.
That's a good prediction, bro.
That would be cool. That hit me like this morning. Like that was my shower thought today. And I was
nice. That's insane. That would be fun.
That's way better than mine. Mine was just Chimchar, Sprigatito, and Quaxley, and I did not want that ever again.
That was a nightmare you had last night.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I'm just going through like the Kalos decks, and there's so many Pokemon that actually could utilize a Mega.
I do want to like touch on one. I think with one thing we're looking at, you know, Legends Arceus. Obviously, we had like Cyndaquil was in there. They give a lot of love to Gen 2. Obviously, it seems like we're not getting anything Gen 5 for a while. Blueberry Academy was like, here, that's your Gen 5 love. I wonder, with obviously now having Tepig, a little bit more love, do they touch on any Gen 5 Megas outside of like Audino? Is it time for us to actually get something that's decent? For me, like if I had a choice, I think if you want, two choices. I choose a favorite Pokemon, which is Scrafty. Mega Scrafty sounds just boss. I love that Pokemon.
I see it so clearly.
Outside
He's
of
the mob
realm,
boss.
Yeah, like that would be really sick.
Would a Mega Scrafty save the game from the starters for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It probably would. It probably bring it back up, honestly.
Okay, here we go. All right.
Give it to Vinny or something. I think that'd be pretty cool. But outside of that realm, like just a random Pokemon that could get a little bit more. Give it to like Behemoth, just a random Pokemon. Like, why not make it cool for once? It already looks like a detective anyway. Like
literally,
dude, that's actually awesome. It looks like a looker.
And throwing in the anime too, you know, they've given Behemoth to Spinel, and he'd be fun to like throw out a Mega Behemoth, you know.
I think that'd be sick. Yeah, Gen 5. It seems like, again, I don't know if I know a lot of people were speculating at one point, remakes for Gen 5 are coming, Black and White 3, yada, yada, yada. I don't think any of that's happening anytime soon. So I think this could be a cool way to, like, give that region some love. Because that was once a region super hated. Everyone did not like this region. But I think this is a cool way to go back and touch on these Pokemon. Because we've already started doing that a little bit with, like, King Gambit. And then it was received super well.
Oh, yeah.
Continue that trend with some other Pokemon in Gen 5. I think
that's true.
That'd be a killer.
They've tiptoed into like those older designs and just giving those Pokemon just true evolutions. And it feels good. It really does feel good. I wonder if maybe they were afraid to do that for a while, just because a lot of those Gen 1, 2, 3 Pokemon, those are like legacy designs. Even Gen 4, like legacy designs. It's like don't touch them.
Mega Drapion would be so sick. You had it on your screen, so I just
no,
squirreled
absolutely.
onto that.
This seems goofy, but I think I just totally lost the place. Magcargo.
Be honest.
I always thought Magcargo had so much potential. If like
I'm crying.
It just listen, more magma that turns into stone, and now it's like this little guy that's like standing up. I think that would be so cool.
I saw this design
or a
for a region I
snake,
covered,
like a dragon almost.
So take away what it is.
What is it?
Like it's not a snail anymore, Dusty.
Well, it's a snail, yeah, but I mean. Yeah, it could change to whatever it needs to be. Absolutely.
Oh, it's a mega. Stay a snail.
No, I'm thinking of it. I'm just thinking of a true evolution.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking of a true evolution, and it's a snail, but maybe it comes out. It looks like I guess it'd be a slug, but it could look like a fire dragon.
I think if you want to tap into like the environment a little bit more, I covered a region recently that was like France, Italy based, and they made an evolution to Magcargo that was like a Vespa. And made
a car?
A ride Pokemon.
That's awesome.
Like another riding
nuts.
option. That could be interesting, just to that would just give that Pokemon its own identity in the space.
You might be able
while
to find it,
pulling
Dusty.
and giving Gen 2 some more love as well.
Yeah.
What you just said just brought something to my mind that would be a good segue. There was a lot of talk when the trailer, when we obviously got to see the trailer, that it showed like the player character being like sort of teleported from the ground level to the roof, and people were discussing that and like whether like that means that's how we're gonna traverse versus like a ride Pokemon type
this
situation.
is fair, yeah.
But Lumio City is like literally the city where we first got to ride a Pokemon with Gogoat, like we mentioned earlier. So I feel like I would be shocked if Gogoat isn't there to like do that at the very least. And if it is there, I kind of feel like that could give like some leeway to other Pokemon being rideable as well.
Sure.
Like it would be like super surprising if Gogoat wasn't there.
Yeah.
So.
When you have Pokemon in the water, you're seeing Pokemon in the canal, and so that tells me that I'm gonna go into the canal too. And maybe I can swim, but I feel like Pokemon's not gonna let you swim. I feel like they're always gonna have a reason you're transporting like to those areas or whatever.
How are you swimming and throwing Pokeballs though?
Right, yeah.
Or like doing this action.
But see, it could be something
in the water.
It could be something lame, like the Rotom bike thing. Like I hated that.
You do kind of do it on
went over water.
on what is it on Basque Legion? You do still have a lot of the same controls that you do on land when it comes to like battling and everything. You don't have that.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, you don't have that in the air on Braviary. You don't have that same kind of control on Weirdeer. But we could see a version of that.
If we didn't have one.
I think you actually do
like
on Weirdeer.
Swimming. We're just like swimming and throwing the ball.
Oh, sure.
At the same
Yeah,
time.
I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that.
You know what I'm saying?
You'd have to be
How
riding
is that
something,
happening?
I think utilize more Pokemon for these would be really
Everyone
key.
wants more ride Pokemon. That's like one of the best
you
things.
should.
Ever.
I think it's fun.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really immersive.
Dusty, I sent you that picture too.
Let me pull it up.
I think
Noivy's-
just utilizing more Pokemon, I think, would be the way.
Yeah, let me pull that up. Our
I also wanted to
merch
know what
designer
Mega-
is sending us new designs.
I want to know
right now.
what Mega you wanted to choose as well, because I don't know if you said one.
I mean there's a lot of good ones, but
There is.
that's a cool design.
That's
awesome.
insane. So would you stand right
That's
here? Is it
Fargo.
like a ride Pokemon? Maybe
You
not.
sit on it.
But it's cool. Yeah, it's
Maybe
a snail right
you just
here.
grab it and you just hang on tight, let your feet flail.
That's hilarious. I love this guy. He's got these cool little goggles. That's a really cool design. Oh, this is by Artworks.
Yeah, Artworks, dude. He's gassed. Dude.
Wonderful.
Fantastic
Their
artist.
stuff's great. That's
Nice.
awesome.
The one Mega that I was gonna say though, there are a lot, so it's like obviously if we could get a bunch, that would be great.
pick
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
But the one that caught my eye on this list was Haxorus when we were talking about like
That's a good
that
one.
would be really good.
Yeah.
I totally agree with Infamous though that Kalos needs to get some love. So another one that I would do in that decks would be. I would love. I think Pumpkaboo and Phantom, like Trevenant Gorgeist, would be good because I love Phantom.
Yeah.
I'm not as big of a fan of Trevenant, but if it got a Mega, it could be cool.
Interesting.
And then Noivern. I think Noivern
Yes.
has to.
That's a brilliant one.
That's Lumi's pick too.
Oh,
Lumi
yeah.
loves Noivern.
Oh yeah, I love Noivern.
Those are all good ones, yeah.
I think that's
I
why
love-
I'm
I love
off the
Trevenant.
Dragonite train. Is I'm like, okay, Dragon flying, and honestly, if I had to give it to one of them, I would not pick Dragonite. I'd pick Noivern.
I
mean,
did
it does seem more
want to.
fitting.
I was gonna say when we were talking about Dragonite that I do still think it has a solid chance, and that is solely because it's a Kanto Pokemon, and it's one of those
Right.
few Kanto Pokemon that has had nothing done to it.
Mhm.
And also, you could factor in that it's a pseudo legendary, and there's like a good amount of the pseudo legendaries that have a regional form or a Mega or something like that, and it doesn't. So I think
Dragonite, Dragapult, and Baxcalibur are the only ones that don't, and Baxcalibur and Dragapult are new. You know.
Yeah.
Something else
Yeah.
to maybe
Like-
consider is like a lot of Mega Evolutions that we did get in X and Y were, or really just in general, were Pokemon that were. It's funny. They were either like the absolute top tier, S tier fan favorites, or they were just like randos that needed
Completely
help.
random.
Yeah.
Who are you guys?
Literally, they were, yeah. So it could kind of go both ways.
But the thing is, they've done like a lot of the more popular ones already.
They have,
so
yeah.
Just like kind of like what would be popular? I mean, Dragonite would be popular. Would
Yeah,
it not?
absolutely.
So that's a good call. Good shout out for that.
And even though I know they wouldn't, like, there is like newer Pokemon that are kind of like they need something. I've always been like a firm believer, like, if I had to choose a newer Pokemon to give a Mega to, and I don't even like the Pokemon, give it to Skullvillain. It needs something else. It's missing something. You look at the design,
Absolutely,
to me,
man.
it needs something else. And I think a Mega could complete that, add to the villainous nature some more. Like, I feel like that would just, it's an easy,
Bro,
it's an
like a
easy
third
bait.
head that's like truly
Third
evil,
head,
and then the
right.
two heads are like just kind of like they're like the grunts or whatever. That's hilarious.
It's just a super simple one to go for. I think it's
Yeah.
already Skullvillain, make it more villainous. Like, it's, to me, it's like an easy one to go.
I love that, man. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna hit some of these super chats before we get behind it. Dolly Wop with the $2. Thank you, man.
Dolly.
Says everyone loves Ladian. We need it to be good.
Yeah.
And absolutely,
Agreed.
that was during our Ladian conversation. I got behind on that. Squirtle Master Kenobi is back with the $10. Thank you, man. Says afternoon,
man.
boys. I'd love for the boss Pokemon to be an Ultra Beast. Tie it in with Zygarde's Sun and Moon story and have the A legendary Pokemon be an Ultra Beast. I think there actually is. I just thought of this now, but I guess you could see a connection between the technology of this one corporation with what's her name, Jet, and the Aether Foundation, right? I could see technologies being kind of borrowed or shared between these two companies. That totally seems plausible. And then Scrafty Hoodlum, not Hoodlum Scrafty, but Scrafty Hoodlum with the $2 says Mega Scrafty in skinny pants for the win. I love it. yeah. Mega Scrafty is he puts a suit. He actually puts like a suit and tie on. He gets a haircut.
Proper.
It's like the punk. Yeah, the punk rocker grows up. That's hilarious.
That's crazy.
It's no longer fighting dark. It's pure normal.
Yes.
He's just class now. He's called class.
Now it's just
Class and aura.
Larry's ace, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude.
His
That's hilarious.
his abilities normalize.
That's hilarious. Red just hit us with another $5. Thank you, Red. He says, do we think Flygon will finally get a Mega or a Regional? Also, underrated take, Mega Dodrio turns into a Hydra Dodrio and gets the Dragon type. I love that. I love
Normal
that.
Also
I've
laughing
always
a lot,
loved that.
so-
I've always loved that
That's
idea.
so cool.
Because there's so many like connections too with like birds and
Dinosaurs.
and, like, reptiles, and dinosaurs, yeah.
Bro, that's so cool. And Dodrio is actually kind of awesome. I like
It's
Dodrio.
kind of a Hydra when you think about it.
It is.
Doduo then gains another head,
It gets 5
But,
heads
yeah.
or something. Yeah.
I'm there. I don't think Flygon's getting nothing though. Personally.
Flygon, if Flygon doesn't get anything, people are gonna just riot.
they're gonna lose
People
Yeah.
will literally start burning Nintendo to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna be so. Yeah, they're gonna be.
Nonstop.
They're gonna be taking all their systems and like burning them in the streets. Like, I'll
they
never
look,
buy another Mario game.
Look, they're getting bold, man. They knew what they were getting into when they got rid of Ash. They're like, we don't care anymore. We're doing what we want. We're not listening to y'all. Mega Flygon ain't happening.
You know, I kind of
I'd love to see it, but
yeah, I don't know. I was thinking earlier. I think there really might be hope for Flygon. We've been streaming for so long. I was just in my house playing this trailer back in my mind. And I was kind of realizing immediately the first thing that we see in this trailer is like backstory, or not backstory, but we see AZ. We see AZ's Floette. These are like artifacts of theory crafting that we've been just ruminating on for like over a decade. And right away in the trailer, they show us these things. I'm trying to think. There definitely were a couple other things that made me think about this, but it's like if they're already going to go there, I feel like they're thinking like, listen, people they never got a, like Game Freak's listening. We never got a Z version, right? We got a lot of questions. I could see them being like, listen, here are the things that you guys have been asking for a decade. I could see it.
Sure,
Mega
but
I could see it.
I think that Mega Flygon, because we've been asking it for a little while, is different from going, okay, you know, we're gonna do Kalos and we're gonna have AZ in it. Like, I don't think that was for us. I think that's because we're in Kalos. That makes sense, you know? I imagine that a Hoenn game's probably gonna have a Birch ancestor descendant or Birch himself somewhere in there, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can see it. What were you going to say? Oops, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that I do feel like there might be an element of like giving us what we want with the fact that they are effectively doing Pokemon Z, especially because it's like so out of order. Like we were all expecting Unova, obviously, and now they're doing this. So there could be a little element to that.
Wait. Just got to make a joke here. Yeah, they're giving us what they want, right, Julio? We got Chikorita, we got Emboar, we got Totodile. It's everything that we've ever wanted, right?
We got Totodile, though.
They're reading our minds.
It is what we want. It's what we want.
Everything that everyone else wants.
Yeah. They said, what does he want? Do the opposite.
Honestly, it feels like
they're watching your YouTube channel. They're like, this man's.
What does he hate?
He's got too much of an impact. He's gonna hit 100K.
For some reason, it's you every time. Like they're like, let's see what this guy says.
When it becomes Infernape, though, bro, you can just roast me. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Look, to be honest,
you'll have your time.
I know some people were like, oh, like you. I had a couple people mention like, oh, you just want Mega Infernape. I was like, no. Honestly, I feel pretty satisfied. I've gotten like Infernape. Now 3 games in a row I can utilize this Pokemon. I don't feel the impact of like I need to have him again. I'm happy when he's there.
That's probably why I didn't do Gen 4.
And like, but I'm fine with that. And I think again it catered to that experience of Legends because I chose Oshawott, loved Duat, got Samurai. I was like, don't know about you. Yeah. But then again, that combination with that and my already love for Infernape, it just pushes that even more. So like Mega Infernape, maybe one day. I'm not like a huge push for it though. So
no, I got you.
Long time.
But Hoops was saying something too.
Yeah, sorry.
I think I was just gonna say that I do feel like Mega Flygon's a possibility, but I also wanted to say, just going along with Megas that would work. I don't know if they would do this one because they already gave this Pokemon a regional variant and an evolution, but. Cantonian Mega Mr. Mime.
Damn.
Okay.
Okay.
Cantonian, Mr. Rhyme. Cantonian Mr. Rhyme.
Okay, no.
Or it would have to be Kalosian.
My favorite Fakemon name for a Mr. Mime evolution is Mr. Crime. And he gets a dark type.
That's a good.
I love that. Fairy
Honestly,
Dark.
I'm down for it.
Isn't that good? It's too good of a name, Mr. Crime.
I think Mr. Rhyme is
twirling
like
his mustache.
Underrated, honestly.
Yeah. Can't you see that, Mr. Crime? He's like a goofball.
But, yeah.
Listen, I don't want it.
Black and white.
If Masuda asked me what I want, I don't want it. But if we get it, I'm like, it's just too good.
Well, I mean, why not though?
Get a regional variant of Mime Jr. that's Crime Jr. Because I actually really like that idea.
Crime
Jr.
Dude,
like it sounds like some bandits, you know, like some bandit names. Oh no, we've been robbed by Mr. Crime and Crime Jr.
Yeah, see, I think do that.
Amazing.
Villains.
Team Rocket has them.
Yes.
That would be sick. Do it. I think you can have fun with the typings. Normal, dark, fairy dark is probably what I would do for it. And then like their black and white, gray color scheme, and then just invert their colors of like black, white, gray.
Yes, I can see it. I can see it.
Easy.
Well, and black and white is like the mime color
Right.
scheme.
Yes,
but it's also
exactly.
like
Yeah.
it's also
Prison.
like the stereotypical prison garb too.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a 2-for-1.
Like,
It's
yeah.
It
perfect.
writes itself.
Please,
It
Pokemon.
writes itself.
I love that so much. Got some more super chats here. Another one from Squirtle Master Kenobi with the $5 says, "My money in on Mega Blastoise in Venusaur 2. Charizard has 2. Why not the others?" Oh, I love that. I love that. I
do think there's going to be I feel like it could happen with the Kalos starters, but I could see them doing like a replication of what we got with in X and Y, where they gave us the Kanto starters like midway through the game. I think we could get that with like maybe the Kalos starters or maybe the Kanto starters for that reason.
Wait. Idea. What if the second set of starters we get later in the game, right? Because like you're saying, X and Y, you get your you get the Kalos starters, and then you get the Kanto starters later. We pick one of Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile, and then later in the game you get the option to pick Cyndaquil, Snivy, and Oshawott.
Bro, you're cooking with that.
Okay.
I could totally see that, and then they
That
all get
balances it out a
megas,
little bit more.
and they all
Just
get
balances
megas.
it out
It
more.
would,
That
be something like post game though. I think it'd be post game.
That would be insane. Gotta write that one down.
I'd be a lot happier.
Gotta write that one down for the clip.
I'd be using Totodile and Snivy, man. 10 out of 10.
It's funny, Dusty, because I have a tweet written up that is just like exactly that.
Oh really?
But I was thinking post game. Yeah, it makes sense. Did they give them all megas? You know.
See, but if they give them all megas, do they? Because look, I'm like, I feel so strongly that like Greninja, Chestnut, and Delphox are gonna get megas. So then, do you also give them megas? And like I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
That's 9.
How many are we
megas right
thinking?
there,
How many are we
you know?
thinking? You know.
I mean, what is it?
I mean, that's
3?
another question. Is how many megas do we think are even coming in this game?
There's only 2 starter sets that have megas. I guess you got the Kalos starters; they could have megas.
Quite a bit still.
We're assuming these might have megas. I don't know. That'd be insane if they're like every starter Pokemon gets a mega. That would be insane.
Jeez.
Almost
That
too
was
much.
nice. They should have like showed one off already.
Yeah, it's like the new Evolution. Like which one's gonna get a mega this year?
It would not all be in the same game. There's no
DJ, thank you for the super chat. They say, "Hi guys, a lot of people seem to think the old lady will be the villain. What do you guys think? I think it's a bit too obvious, but maybe."
I think it's
I think it's Jet or the other guy, Vinny, instead.
Vinny?
But
Sure.
I'll be honest. Kind of hoping it's AZ, bro.
Dude, I was just gonna say that.
Just for the
Yes.
twist of events. He's like,
he's
bro,
the
I'm tired
Volo.
of this.
He's the Volo, dude.
Dude. Oh.
We're gonna battle his like
so
Eternal
good.
Flower Float. It'll be like, oh, like cute little like early battle.
And then it has a new form that's just like as menacing.
Mhm.
Yo,
Dude, I saw the
yeah.
sickest art.
Florges.
I saw the craziest art of a Eternal Flower Florges. It's insane. They basically made its like silhouette look like you can kind of see the Eternal Flower in the wallpaper. This is like classic, like right. We love this stuff. Like the wallpaper in the trailer looks like Eternal Flower Floette. So they were like, well, what if Florges looks like the other part of that pattern that isn't the flower in the wallpaper? Yeah. But anyways, yeah. No, that would be so sick. I could totally see dude, here's the thing. AZ is responsible for genocide. He is evil.
he's reformed.
Let's
But he
play
was
this.
He should be
It
in prison.
It's been 3,000.
3,000
He should be
years. He was
in prison.
That's a
He
long
was
time.
in prison, and
Yeah.
his own Pokemon forgave him, and
Yeah.
he was kind of
That's true. My
redeemed in a
dog's
way.
always forgiving me when I when I do something wrong.
Also, I don't know. Also, too, like it's complicated, right? Because it wasn't
For sure.
genocide. Like with Lysander. Lysander literally nobody's doing nothing, and he's like, I want to kill everyone that isn't team player. But with AZ, they're in a war, and he made the decision once he lost something and went through something dramatic. He made through the decision. I'm in the war right here, right now, and it was wrong. I'm definitely not like justifying
obviously,
it, but I'm saying like. It isn't like he just went, let's just kill some people today, you know?
I think the parallel for here, here for me, is that Volo is kind of a Volo was like a time hopper in Legends Arceus, right? Like he basically yeah, but he kind of alludes to we don't know that, but he kind of alludes to the fact that like he's got lines of dialogue that literally say like I've been waiting, I've seen this over time, and I don't know exactly what it is.
It's not even that.
What does he say?
He has one line that I've picked apart, and I've done like several videos with it because off of this one stupid line where he says, I don't care how long it takes. I'll wait eons if I have to. And it's like, you ain't got eons if you're human, Yeah. And then it's also like, then you combine that with the fact that Cynthia's the only person in the game who has 2 ancestors, and they clearly aren't like an item. You know what I mean? Volo and Kogita don't seem to be in any kind of romantic relationship. No. So like the idea is like Kogita is the ancestor. Volo's actually the descendant. His team is modeled after Cynthia's because he's actually after Cynthia, and so he modeled it after his champion grandmother or whatever.
Are you saying that's the theory? So you're saying he
totally theory.
Okay.
It's a theory I did on my channel. I'm sure others have like done a similar theory. I'm not saying like it's my theory.
Sure. No. Yeah. So I'm looking at AZ like, okay, this man is not time hopping, but instead he just has lived through everything, and I think there could not be a sweeter twist to see AZ, and you could even justify it. You could be like, AZ's like, listen, y'all, maybe he's looking at the 2 people on the side, like on the sides, right? Like the CEO, what's her name, Jet and Vinny. Maybe he's looking at them and being like, you guys are corrupt. I need to stop you. So like in the story of ZA, AZ is a villain to that story, but not necessarily like evil, right? He could be the antagonist, but not necessarily like a bad person or whatever.
I feel like this is exactly what, I don't know if you remember this, Dusty, but we talked to Lord Keeper Toby this past Sunday. Our episode came out, and it was before the presents, and we were asking him, do you want it to be past or future? And he said that he didn't like the future because of a couple reasons. And I even added to it and said, I don't like the future either, because I feel like every time someone does a sequel, they take a fundamental point of the original and they ruin it. And that is like this whole redemption arc for AZ, and you're immediately going to muddy it in this game? Nah.
Yeah, but that's like the twist.
I mean,
they might
do it, but it wouldn't be good.
That is a part of it, and I think this man is obviously resulted of a person of war. I think there's like a level of PSTD that kind of plays into that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
100%.
Pokemon's recently been hitting on some more like closer topics and just things going on. So I wouldn't be surprised if they played into that. And he's got PTSD of the war because all the events going on. Like Lumiose is getting destroyed. He's like, this is not what I wanted. Let's just fix it all. I'm done. And he just kind of takes charge. It's not setting him as the villain, but just of the immediate situation. Like, hold on, he's like, I need to fix this, and then he just does it in the wrong way.
Sure,
Not
that
something
makes
that
sense.
ruins him, but he's like, bro, I know where this might go. I can't.
Yeah, that's similar to Kamado in Legends Arceus. Yeah, like he was kind of the main antagonist of the main story, and he's not evil, he's not a bad guy. He just like went too far, kind of.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be as bad.
Also with this game, you gotta think it's a Legends game, so it can have like darker kinds of tones, or like more grown up serious tones to it. Like they mentioned death a few times in Legends Arceus.
It was like all the time.
Yeah,
there were like so many lines where they dropped the word die. It was like overtly trying to get you to understand this is a grown-up Pokemon game.
Yeah, that's as grown up as Pokemon gets. So
the guy like writing the dialogue has been like, sir, it's been 10 pages and we haven't said anything about death. Change that.
I will say, like, I think also too, I just want to battle AZ. I know you can in X and Y. He has a team of 3 Pokemon. I just like double checked Torkoal, Golurk, and then Sigilyph as well. I think add some more Pokemon to that team, he would just be a super fun battle. Add in like maybe we get like Eternal Flower Florges to that too, and it just becomes like an epic showdown. Like, I think that would just be sick. That's a great way to like bring that Volo level battle in. I want that experience again, battle wise, because obviously that game's not super battle heavy. This one seems to be a lot more battle heavy. We have this new mechanic, and imagine his Pokemon they're just tyrants. They're just like, man, these are my war Pokemon. We can get nasty if you want to, and he just starts going crazy, switching them out really fast, doing strategies, things like that. I think
here's something that could happen.
Yes,
if we get another Volo type battle in this game. You get, maybe it's AZ, maybe it's someone else. we battle Zygarde, and then it pulls a Giratina, and it becomes its complete form. And then it pulls another Giratina and Mega Evolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could even start that like further back with the 10% form, so it's just like a Zygarde gauntlet. Like you have to
it's a boss, like
start it with the core.
Yeah. I actually think that I could totally see Zygarde being the like antagonist of this whole thing. Like it's not a person, it's not any of these people. It's just Zygarde.
Well, it kind of makes sense because
it
kind of makes sense because the whole point of the game is sort of like is developing the city and stuff like that, and Zygarde could easily see that as like going overboard, and it's like, oh, I need to restore order or whatever.
Yeah,
so it's like it comes to like destroy the city basically. So
totally.
Yeah, exactly. I really don't think it'll be Jet, purely because like I thought that Clavel was the villain. He wasn't. Then I thought that Briar was the villain. She wasn't.
Yeah, but not a lot of people are thinking. Not a lot of people are thinking Zygarde is the villain.
No, I was talking about with Jet. Like, you know, that was what the super chat was about. Was if
I don't think
Jet
she is
would be
either,
the villain. I don't. Yeah, like I feel like it's too obvious. A lot of people thought Silene was the villain, and of course she wasn't either.
Let's hit some of these super chats. Just get caught up. People are loving this. Squirtle Master Kenobi, thank you for the $5. Says, I hope Zygarde can go back and forth between form. I love the 10% form. A big theory we had leading up to this trailer, I guess we still don't know, is the idea that like Zygarde could be like the ride Pokemon, and that's super fun. I think, right? Like you ride on the back of it as like in its dog form, and then like so you could go fast, and then maybe there's another in between form, and that can like climb or something. Maybe it's like a spider, and maybe that's how you climb up buildings, and then et cetera, et cetera. Just kind of a cool idea. I don't know if we're gonna get that anymore.
It's actually kind of insane how well Zygarde fits into the kind of development of what they did in Scarlet and Violet with Koradon and Miraidon, because you could literally start the game and you could run into a Zygarde core, and then you start finding the cells, and then once you get 10% of them, you get the 10% form, and then so on and so forth. And then I could also see
that's like the unlocking system.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you unlock stuff as you collect more cells, and I could also see I could see them doing a thing with like you have like the Zygarde cube or something to where you can like revert it back and forth for if you need to like if you use Zygarde or the 10% form for maybe like high speed traversal, or you use the 50% form for like something else or whatever, you know.
I love
like
that so much.
Kind of traveling. But
Squirtle Master Kenobi hit us with another $5. They said second starters could also be Snivy, Litten, or Poplio. I guess that would be for that would complete
like
Gen 5.
What you were saying earlier.
And complete Gen 7. It could be. It definitely
would make
it
where Gen 2, 5, and 7 all have forms now.
Oh, see, I was thinking just completing the ones that we have in this game. Again, that's how I'm thinking. I'm like, if there's any completion going on, it has to be a completion in this game, I would think.
It don't have to be nothing. I don't know if
that's
you know
true.
This,
yeah, that's true.
Got two Johtos.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do what they want.
Free Metroid Hat is in the building. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good Saturday. Free Metroid Hat with the $10 super chat says under or over 50% we get a new Eevee evolution in Legends ZA. Also, just got myself a legendary Aura shirt. Yes! Thank you so much, Free Metroid Hat.
Also, awesome.
Gotta pull it up now. Gotta pull it up.
But I would say no to the evolution. I don't think it's happening.
I'm not confident in it.
At this point, you'd save it for Gen 10, right? Like, if that's next year.
The only thing about it is it's a wild card, because it's like, if they're going to give us any new Pokemon at all, like an actual brand new design Pokemon instead of a Mega, that could be one. Yeah. Like, that's an easy one to just throw in there without like any explanation. It doesn't have to be like, oh, we're getting an evolution of this Pokemon and that's it. Instead, it's an evolution, so it's established.
Yeah.
Sure.
I had a pretty strong vision right before the trailer that I was like, I could see it. I did. It started out as a joke. We were like reviewing something on Twitter as a joke. We were like, we're not getting an Eevee. This doesn't mean anything. And then we found that stripe and we were like, wait, Eevee's never depicted as white. That could be something else. And then we spiraled. But I had the vision. I said, and it didn't come true. Whatever, doesn't matter. Free Metroid hat.
Yeah.
Thanks for the support. Let me know which shirt did you get? We have so many different ones. I'm gonna profile them right now. We got a new Zygarde shirt. We got all these Kalos Pokemon on the back in this nice like Legend ZA nighttime futuristic blue color. This one's so good. Our designer Noiv made that custom. We got the Kalos starters right here. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of designs right here. What were you gonna say, Hoops?
Oh, you just answered my question. I was going to ask you if you had a T-shirt version of that black, like the black version of the Kalos starter.
Oh yeah. Did I show it up here?
And it was right up there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let us know. We'll send you. I can send you some like coupon codes or whatever they're called, promotion codes. Yeah. There's so many different versions, and actually, our designer, Noivi, he's working on some new ones right now. So I think tomorrow, maybe the day after that, there's going to be brand new designs in this legendary aura collection. It's shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com. You guys actually might like this. This design right here.
I love it. Yeah.
I've
been checking them out. It look good.
There's a little bit of a Necrozma art right in the corner, which is kind of it alludes to one of our Necrozma theories, thinking that like Necrozma could be the thing that's trying to zap and pull the power away from the Lumiose Tower. And Necrozma and Zygarde have always had a combative relationship in like other forms of media outside of the games. So I thought that was so cool to like our designer to like slip that in there. Soul bought this, and then I noticed it, and I was like, oh my god, like that's awesome. That's perfect for Soul. Anyways, shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com. Thank you, Free Metroid hat. And all right, here let's we got some more super chats. And then I want to get to some more conversation. I want to bring something up that was in the anime. My friend Jake Steinberg showed me something that's anime related, and I've never seen this before. And I want to get your guys' take, specifically you, Infamous, because you are the anime guy. But we got official NFB with the $2 says y'all think we get a shiny AZ Floette somehow. Interesting, a shiny.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's long overdue.
Not yet.
I just want the eternal flower
The base
Floette.
one. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Let's just get that first.
Wouldn't that be
Well,
funny?
I
They
think-
give you a shiny, not the original.
I think it's 100% going to be obtainable, and if it's obtainable, that means they're definitely going to make a shiny variant of it, I would imagine.
True, it'll be in the
Yeah.
code, and we can't get it.
If it's obtainable, AZ ain't making it through this game.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
it was funny because like the running joke over on Rockets were like we were always talking about is this game future or past, because like obviously age is going to play a part.
Yeah.
Like Ramos is gone, dog. Like
Yeah,
man,
we were
so
saying that
old.
yesterday. We were saying that yesterday.
We were talking about it. He's for sure gone. I mean, it's like 12 years max from X and Y.
It's so funny too, because like back when like we were playing out with the idea of it being in the past, Dusty was like every episode he's like, dude, Ramos, he's coming back. A young Ramos is gonna do the gardens, and now like ironically like Ramos is like the one character that like he's gone.
Dude, he's toast. He's out. Listen, he's up there with wherever Eternal Flower Flowout went. He's eternal now. He's eternal. Sky King with the $10. Thank you, Sky King. After 3,000 years, AZ has seen a lot of friends and family die. Now he runs a hotel to be in service to others as penance, while keeping ephemeral acquaintanceships.
What big words?
Oh my
today.
god, there's like 20 letters in there. While keeping ephemeral acquaintanceships before sending them on their way. That's kind of nice. I kind of like that. That's I like it. I could buy it. Thank you, Sky King.
AZ the hotel man.
Yeah. We got
a lot
another
of
big.
people have been.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh no, go ahead.
No,
go
I
ahead.
want to hear it. I want to hear it. That's why we're here.
Okay, I was just gonna say I've noticed a lot of people saying, because obviously like my reaction was just like him running a hotel. That's like the weirdest thing you could have possibly come up with. But a lot of people I've noticed have been saying that like this, like his entire existence post like the war was just wandering around looking for his Floette, and like this is like literally his happy ending where he's got his Pokemon back, and now he's just chilling, like living his best life. And that's something honestly I can get down for. So
Yeah, I agree.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah, but is he also like secretly in hiding for his war crimes?
Yeah, he's definitely
Maybe.
doing it, like taking a low
Like,
profile.
can
know?
you
It's a low
imagine you're just
profile.
hanging out in the Hotel Z, you're chatting, you and Tawny or Bane, like, just joking around, and then all of a sudden AZ goes, "Is that the cops? Get down," and just like locks all the doors. It's the feds.
He's too tall to like hide like that, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he can't hide.
He has to just like put a lampshade on and pretend to be a lamp.
Yeah.
Red hit us with a 20 bomb. Thank you so much, Red, for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Zygarde could even be at war with itself to some degree. Maybe the more oh, I love this. Maybe the more cells a core has, the more of the zealot for nature it becomes. What does zealot mean again?
Like zealous, like
I don't know what it means.
passionate, kind of like.
Is
Yeah.
it like vengeful?
No, it's just
Like
I don't know. It's like
dedicated?
It's like passionate with emotion towards something.
The official definition is showing great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or objective.
Okay, cool.
That's
Or
what I said.
obsessive.
That's
All right. To the more of a zealot for nature it becomes, the 10% doggo could be friend. Oh, that's cool. Could be friendly to us, where the 50% in up forms could be hostile.
Dude.
Ooh, like it just
I
that's
like
actually
the
kind of cool.
idea
Of them
that,
being
where,
split
like,
and they're
there's
fighting
two
for the
cores.
parts.
Right, you've got 50-50, and like the climax of the game is that, the evil
Whoa.
50 eats, like the other 50
okay.
and becomes the complete form.
And
There
one
was
side
two.
is shiny, the other side is non.
I mean, there was 2 in XYZ anime, so like
Yeah.
that's very feasible.
Dude, that's
I agree.
huge, Red. Thank you, Red. Yeah, add to it.
Imagine a scenario where you've got like 250%, or maybe like they're both like there's 2 of them, but there's like a couple cells left that both of them need to like get the cells that they need to just like take over everything. And like one of the last missions of the game before you fight Zygarde or whatever is like going through the city to track down this 1 or 2 cells that are remaining before the evil Zygarde and whoever's with it does the same thing. So it's like a race against time.
Oh,
I love that. I
There's
love
some
that
urgency
so much.
behind it. I love
Love
it.
Yes.
I definitely think
It's
there
like the
can be
ticking
like some parallels to XYZ, like because the Z. I've said this a million times, but because Pokemon Z was cut, there could have been things that were in Pokemon Z, the story of the game, that made it into the anime. Because they used to
Absolutely.
parallel the games pretty well.
I mean, the Zygarde forms alone were absolutely for Pokemon Z.
Yeah.
I
So-
don't think it's any coincidence that the XYZ anime was obviously focused on Zygarde and then culminated in Lumiose City, and this game is focused on Zygarde and focuses on Lumiose City. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
not to say they're gonna just like rip the
No,
anime
I don't think they
plot
will either,
or
yeah.
what they originally had, but I think there will be some inspiration there for sure.
Oh yeah,
They've
and
had plenty
even
of time to change it a bit. So
even some
Yeah.
other similarities are like you have that little teaser at the end of the trailer where it was like a notification on your phone that said a promotion match has been scheduled or something to that effect. And we've talked to so many people at this point. I can't even remember who said it. I want to say it was JPR, but I'm not even positive on that. But someone said that
He's claiming
in
theory.
the anime you have the league now takes place in Lumiose City in the anime. It's not at the Kalos Pokemon League. It's in Lumiose City, and you're talking about some promotion matches in Lumiose City. So it's like if there's some
That
kind of
could-
tie in there.
Work well. I initially when I saw that snippet, it made me just think of like the PWC in the anime, just like having the promotion matches to go up to like the next tier of like Great Ball class, Ultra Ball class, Master class, things like that. So I don't maybe it could play into that part of it as well. There's tons of options there. It definitely feels, and maybe this game in just how the gameplay looks and just references to like XYZ, it feels very like anime this time around. Like it just you're a lot more engaged, a lot more references from the anime are pulling over to like help build the experience for this, and it sounds really exciting. So
And yeah,
Absolutely.
like to add to what Soul was saying too, with like potential stuff from the scrap Pokemon Z game to come up, from what we understand about Pokemon Z, like, we don't know much because it was a scrap game, but it looks like specifically it started as Pokemon Z and was reworked into Pokemon X2 and Y2, which would imply that they were sequels. And this game is very clearly post X and Y,
Dude,
This is a
I kind of love that so much.
Yeah.
Z is the sequel to Y, and A is the sequel to X, maybe. Makes no sense. It's just one game. It's one game.
I'm trying.
Squirtle Master Kenobi, thank you for all the support. With another $5 says, what are the odds on a Kalos Pokemon getting a new regular evolution or pre-evolution? Example, Noivern evolves into a new Pokemon, but not a Mega. And I think that's totally possible. Like we said earlier, they just need to think of some sort of like loophole to make it work. Like they just need to explain it in like I think that's fine. If there's a new item that's introduced to the series or a mechanic specifically for Noivern, then it was never possible to evolve Noivern outside of this game,
To me, I feel like it needs to be a little selective. I don't know about Noivern because I already feel like it's pretty.
Sure,
pretty
yeah,
selective.
that's
It's
just an
already
example,
pretty
but yeah.
firm. I think a Mega would be great for that. But in this instance, like when we were talking about
Helioptile would be great.
Helioptile, but I also think like Swirlix and Swirlpuff, like that's a good one that could get an evolution, take it to that next level, right? And then it's just a little bit bulkier, it's a bigger bulk. Like I don't know, do something with it. Maybe make it like fairy fighting because that'd be like just gas. And I need it. So
yeah, Soul said earlier, like Game Freak like looks at these, like every new design is like that's all that Game Freak cares about. They just care about a new design. It doesn't matter if it's a Mega, it doesn't matter if it's a a final form, a regional form, doesn't matter. And I do think something that we need to be thinking about when we're like desiring new forms is like as much as I would want a Pokemon to evolve and then get a Mega evolution, I feel like whatever, like a new line is only going to get one new evolution because a second new evolution to that line is like a Mega is just going to detract from that new design. It's going to overshadow the other design that they just created,
One or the other. Can't be too greedy.
Yeah,
It was Lumi that said that, but yes.
Oh, okay. Because I love the idea of like obviously like give us regionals for the starters and then let those Mega evolve. But honestly, the Mega evolution would overshadow. At least I would think it would overshadow the actual just new design that they give us. So thank you, Squirtle Master Kenobi. We got one more here by Free Metroid Hat. Another $10. Thank you. Says, what type of new Eevee evolution would you all want next? I want a Ghost type Eevee. Also, I got the Zygarde shirt. Thank you. Appreciate it. The Zygarde shirt is sick. Soul got one. I need to order one next.
Ghost is good. Maybe Dragon, though. Maybe Dragon.
Dragon feels right. It's a counterpart to...
I want flying.
I like that it relates to Sylveon. You like flying?
I want flying.
I just need Sylveon to be nerfed a bit. I'm gonna say Steel. I just need Sylveon to get hit.
Is that now? I need to ask. Is that because you feel that Sylveon's too strong, or you just can't stand Sylveon?
No. I just think it should have its proper counterpart. That'd be the way to go. Dragon is
personal.
Really cool.
Is what I asked.
No. I think Dragon is another good option, but for something Steel, I think really would just adds a little something different versus.
Yeah, for sure. Even not Bug. I was gonna say Bug, but no, it's Fairy resist Bug, not Bug resist Fairy. They really don't like the Bug type, do they?
No, they hate me. There was It's Gur also. He said that he put a super chat through already, so he did 2, I think.
I didn't see it. I don't think it went through. Yeah, It's Gur with the $10. Thank you, It's Gur. You've been here all week. Says, I don't know if my other super chat went through, but maybe AZ's Floette Mega evolves and maybe post game AZ isn't there and we get his Floette. Yeah, I've heard a couple theories where like the idea of like somehow there's a separation. Yeah, that's probably cleaner if AZ just like disappears. He basically does like the Lord of the Rings thing where like at the end of the series, like they I think in the universe the afterlife is like the elves just they go to like an island or something and it's like whatever. That's how they describe the afterlife. I think AZ maybe does something where he's like, I'm just going to go on an eternal journey, right? That's a nice way to say that he's, eternal. And yeah, then we get AZ's Floette with the OT AZ. That would be legendary. I love that.
Oh, I don't know about all that, but that's crazy.
I mean, well, traditionally...
That's not that crazy. I don't think that's crazy at all.
it does not have the person's OT traditionally.
I mean,
Oh,
I don't
when you
think
get a gift Pokemon?
Traditionally, it adopts your your starter isn't OT Professor whoever, it's yours, and other examples of that.
we found out that
honestly
that's a good
the
point.
N one is so weird because he released all those Pokemon and then we caught them, but they're OTN. But
Yeah,
when
then
we're
that I
gifted
could
a Pokemon, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
but there's
bro,
plenty
it's
of other
AZ
times in
Floette.
game where you're gifted something and it's weird.
But
It's
this
weird.
one
It's
has
not consistent.
This one has significance. What about? Oh, how about this? What about this is the best example. This will tell us. In the Blueberry Academy, you get all those trainers, those gym leaders Pokemon. What are their OTs?
You're traded them though. You're traded them. With trades, it always has the OT, but not gifts.
But this is
That's what I'm saying. That's
but
the
this
weird
is like
thing
a
about it.
trade. I would think this would be like a trade. I think it would fun. It's AZ
I don't know. The
Floette.
only way we're getting the Floette is AZ is gone. I don't know if he launched the ultimate weapon again and Floette's like breaking up again. I don't know, but he's dead or something. Because if we're getting that Floette, it would or this is a bad game. I'll go ahead and say it. If we get that Floette and AZ is still alive, well and good, this is a bad game because this man went 3,000 years, finally redeemed himself, got the Floette. But then this game is going to be like, I went 3,000 years without my best friend, but I've been with him for 5 years now, and I'm honestly sick of him. Take him.
Sure, that's a good point.
Like the whole thing though, like he revived him and all this stuff, like
he killed
destroyed people.
For
for Floette, and then he just, you know what? Take him. I don't care anymore.
Honestly, Floette's kind of annoying.
No, I think I don't want to say what I think because it's like so crazy if it ever happens. I just think he might like do like a sacrifice thing and like redeem himself or something. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they might go like a crazy route where he's a big part of the story.
Sure.
And
he's gonna be a big part, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he dies because I don't think Pokemon wants to like put a finality point on it. You know what I mean? Like a period.
I think he would go on like some sort of he's basically gonna go wander again. He'll go wandering.
I don't know about
again.
wandering. I think
his Floette.
But that's that's a way to not kill him. That's an eternal journey. He just goes walking
kind of
forever.
Separation. No, it has to be some kind of like he can't be here anymore. And
that's what I'm saying.
There's got to be like a can't be.
Ultra Beasts are involved. He gets locked in a wormhole.
He's banned.
Exactly.
Okay.
Something like that. Yep, something like that.
That could work. Yeah, if he's in another dimension or whatever.
He gets trapped in Rockwa.
This is the real question: is Volo coming back?
Bro, that's good.
No,
I don't think so either. Maybe the next Legends game though. That would make sense.
Yeah.
This is too soon.
No, they could bring him back.
He just pops up. He's just reoccurring villain for everyone.
Yeah, dude. He's the evil.
I'm telling you right now.
I love it.
Volo is Marvel's Thanos.
Yeah,
we're gonna
exactly.
work up to some giant thing.
I do hope we get some kind of like connective tissue between ZA and Arceus, because I would love if like each one that comes after is not like a direct sequel, but like it shows that they're like interconnected at least. And obviously Arceus did some stuff with like the main series where you had like Ingo, he like had fallen through the wormhole or whatever. And I think it would be really cool if they did stuff like that, but with the other Legends games. So they just like their lore kind of worked together. And there is some like evidence in Legends Arceus that could possibly be a thing, because in the data of the game, there was randomly some like markers or something for Mega Evolutions that normally were like wiped out from other games, but they were like there in Legends Arceus. So there is some evidence that they're maybe thinking about something like that. So
yeah, and you had like little teases too, like the Mega Guard of Varrock. I'll always swear by that one in Legends Arceus. I do think, I mean, that's another thing too, is I do think like they connect these games somehow, right? Because like there's only two of them. There's only two Legends games. Surely there's some kind of connection. Honestly, a really small way to do it, that'd be cool in my opinion, is take one of those Pokemon that's like kind of locked to Hisui, whether it's a form or one of the evolutions like Weirdy or something, and give it a Mega.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That would be cool.
Free Metroid Hat, thank you, with the $5 says, what characters' descendants would you want to see in Legends ZA? This is a cool question. We already have seen, I think it's very clear that the main characters are descendants of Sycamore, and possibly right here on screen, the female character is a descendant possibly of the protagonist's mother in X and Y. They just look very similar. And this boy right here looks 100. That's Sycamore Jr. That's Sycamore. And then there's some other characters that we've seen, and I don't think anything is screaming out to me descendant. I think they look a little bit more unique. But yeah, what are we thinking for descendants? Maybe we're not even getting descendants. Maybe we're getting the real characters.
Yeah, I think what you said about Sycamore and the player character is on point. I don't think any of the other characters that we've seen so far are connected to anyone. Maybe I've seen some interesting comparisons between Jet and Colress. I saw someone point that out.
We posted that on Hidden Power. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but otherwise, I don't think there's much there. The one that I really want to see that I've been like just preaching this whole time that I kind of feel like might not be happening now because Jet and Vinny, but I thought it was just like it would be absolutely perfect if they had a character that was like a relative of Watson be a part of the redevelopment plan, because he did that with Mauville City.
Yeah.
So,
we could see that. Yeah.
Yes, that is perfect. Yeah.
So.
No, that's so neat. I love that a lot.
I like that.
I guess it's like we have to understand like what the time difference is, you know?
Yeah, that's also it too.
Is this game 12 years, 12 years after the events of X and Y? Because when this game comes out, it'll be 12, or it's currently 12 years after the X and Y came out, right? Like, is it just going to be 12 years, or could we potentially be looking at like 20 years as a nicer, rounder number? Could it be 50 years? So it's like the next generation, you know?
I don't know how old the characters are supposed to be, but if they're Sycamore's kids...
Oh, yeah, let's do the math. Let's do the age
You
math.
do have, like, the thing of, like, okay, well, Sycamore, as far as we know, unless he had secret children, Sycamore did not have kids in X and Y. So it's like, you have to throw in, the time of him finding a woman, them getting pregnant, and then 9 months, and then how old the kid, how old is the kid?
Come on, guys, this is basic. This is basic.
Well,
we know
how
how
old
this
is
works.
the person? Is the thing, like, are they 16? They look kind of
look at this guy's
older to me, like 16.
I was gonna say the player characters look older, but also especially the rivals. Like if you look at Tawny,
the rivals,
Tawny legit looks like she could be like 18 or something.
You're right. Yeah, she looks like she could be college age. Sure.
So that's like another factor as far as the timeline placement.
Yeah,
and it's interesting because like the male player character, he's got to be connected to Sycamore in some way.
Oh,
so
yeah. Absolutely.
That has big implications as far as where it takes place.
Oh, here I got this. I got the perfect segue after you. It's on topic.
Well, I do want to say too, though, on the subject of like what descendants I want to see. I don't, again, it's a question of how far in the future. But if we are seeing descendants, one thing I'd like to see is like descendants from like a descendant that is from two different characters, and it's obvious. Like, I love that Legends Arceus confirmed this long running theory that Bertha and Agatha are related. Agatha from Kanto and Bertha by having like a common ancestor. So it would be cool to see like. I'm not saying that I want these two to get together specifically, but like
we're
if
just
you see
shipping
a kid
now. Where's
that's
Hybrid?
like
Let's get him on.
Shauna and Trevor's kid, just like something like confirming, like, oh, so in the future, Shauna and Trevor get together. Not that I necessarily want those two to be the example, but like it would be cool to see. Wait, so and so ends up with something that's wild. I like those kind of things.
No, this is cool.
And
My buddy,
too.
my buddy level 99 Pidgey just texted me, and he's like, okay, depending on the time zone, right? I'm kind of expanding on his thought, but like if we have the Johto and AU Nova starter, if this game takes even 20 years after X and Y, it's still a good maybe 20, 25 years after the events of Red, Blue, and Yellow and Gold and Silver. What if we see like the protagonist Ethan and Lyra, right, show up as like end game bosses we could fight, or I'm thinking it maybe even like and we don't often see this, but I think it is something that, like, personally I would enjoy. I think fans enjoy seeing and fighting Red, Leaf, Blue, right, in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Those are pretty epic things at the end of a game where you can, like, fight the character that you embodied in a previous playthrough, right? But, like, what if the protagonist of Black 2 and White 2 or whatever show up and they're now 25, 30, right? At the time of this game.
More sense to do X and Y protagonist,
I think,
though?
Well, I'm trying to make the connection between the starters, I guess, the starter Pokemon. It could, you are right. You are right. Yeah, that's actually a better point, Lumi. I like that.
If you do Ethan, I think one cool way is, like, maybe all this time has passed and he's been venturing and doing his thing in Johto, and he's, like, also found a way to, like, have Hisuian Typhlosion, and he, like, gifts you one or something like that. That could also tie back in. So, like, if you want like that Pokemon completes that trio of, like, all your Johto starters now in Legends ZA, right? I think that'd be really cool. Outside of that, I do want to touch, like, on the Descendant things. I'm not 100% sure, like, Descendants, but I think, like, just a future time gap wise, one character I think that'd be fun to just see in this space, or if it's 12 or even 20 years later, to just allude to how things have grown, what the future is, Clement and Bonnie. Now, essentially, like, Bonnie's taking over as, like, the gym leader or, like, the electric specialist, while Clement is so focused on building up the tower, getting the city right, and things of that nature. It just shows, like, not only a progression in the city, but with these characters. Again, we know Ramos is gone, so this gives an establishment of, like, these characters are adult.
We know Ramos
and, like,
is
and
gone.
and then literally, like, Bonnie is just a super powerful trainer. She takes over, like, she's
Bonnie's
like,
the champion.
Yeah.
Dude,
I can see it, man. It's like an Irish situation.
And it's a cool type back because you still get, like, all the connections to, like, X, Y, and Z, because she was, like, the main component when it came to Zygarde for the anime. So it's like you're touching back on all those points. I think it'd be really sick to see just advancements or just older age of those characters.
Listen, I kind of want to segue us, right? So this is all right. I got people whispering in my ear ideas, and I feel bad because I'm like, I want to talk about this. Again, Jake, chat, you know him. Where is this? Jake has
Jake's
a theory.
Always saying something.
He's always got the theories. Here we go. Pokemon Legends ZA rival theory.
I thought about this as well. Mostly the relation to Requiem.
Yeah, so that's what I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Infamous, help me out. In the new Pokemon Horizons anime, there's this man. What's his name? Gibeon.
Yeah.
And this location he is at is the what did you call it, Soul?
Yeah.
It's Rakwa.
It's Lakwa in English.
Lakwa
in Japanese.
So Lakwa. And this man has pink and white hair, and he's also got a shiny Zygarde. And apparently, this man used to have gray hair, and it was because of whatever. This isn't in Jake's post, but he texted me this. Apparently on the Wikipedia, whatever is this pink haze throughout this location that he's at is what affected his hair to now, and his I think hair is a representation of, like, our bodies, right? Like our current state of whatever. So, like, this character used to have gray hair. Now, because of the pink smoke, that pink whatever you want to call it, his hair is turned white and pink. And if we take a look at these new characters, they have white and pink hair. And this is all happening in tandem, right? This isn't like old anime stuff from 10 years ago. This is like a brand new thing from the last, 6 months or something. I think there was another detail in here, but I don't know if you have any immediate thoughts with this connection.
Not super immediate, because we're still trying to figure out things with Gibby. We know he is really reliant on the Rhyhorn, which is the stone, the crystallization of the mist there.
Yeah.
Now there's some play into this, because you got where he's 100 plus. He's kind of benefiting off of this. This is his sole mission, is to get Rhyhorn. The hair correlation could work. And I know that they showed a teaser on Pokemon Day as well with, like, it looks like we're getting Mega Evolution in Horizon, so it could be playing into that. He already has Zygarde there. It looks like they're setting up some stuff. I'm just not sure where it's gonna go. But he's an interesting character. We found out more about him in these next couple episodes. How he looks. I mean, come on, shiny Zygarde. He's got one on his right hand side. Like, that's pretty sick. So it's an interesting thing. It could be a connection.
Yeah. So another layer of connection. Let's let's see right here. Apparently, he managed to expand his lifespan due to something special that happened. I don't know. I hear
it's
that
because of the Rockurium.
Yeah.
That's what's giving him eternal life, or
that's a
extended
motive
life.
that reminds me a lot of Lysander. Which is a relative or a descendant of AZ, right? So something could be going on here.
Possible.
Something else along these lines that I recently I saw brought up as well, and this could be nothing, but the fact that we're talking about the rivals' hair kind of reminded me of this. The rivals' hairstyles, both the male and female, are exactly the same as the player characters.
Yeah.
Identical hairstyles. And with their hats on, it almost feels like they're hiding that fact.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay, so
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So
I think I have a theory.
I'm so like just perplexed by everyone that doesn't doesn't see it. Like,
oh no,
that,
it's identical.
Like only did when Soul pointed it out to me. I didn't notice it.
It was the first thing when I saw them. I was like, oh, they're exactly the same characters. Like they're not like just their hairstyle. It's exactly the same character, just with different eye color and hairstyle and different clothes on. Like they're all the same. So I don't know if that matters though, because it is the same as the Rei and Kauri situation, because the other one doesn't exist if you pick a male or female, basically. Like, so like not all 4 of them are in the game. That would make a difference. Instead, it's just like the male one exists and the female one exists, and that's it. So I don't know. It's kind of like more of a X and Y situation with Callum and Serena to me.
Let me cook. I think I have a solution. I think I figured this out. Okay. In fantasy, when I'm watching, I'm never reading, but when I'm watching fantasy, right? A very common trope is the successor to a throne, right? Who is the successor? What is the true bloodline, right? And very often these families split, right? There's a little bit of an affair, right? Sycamore is, notorious for this, right? So what I'm thinking right now, right? We have these 2 characters, these 2 different types of people, right? The rivals, Urbane and Tawny, and we have our player characters, which do they have names? Playable characters.
No.
The playable characters.
Another thing that parallels them. Like we could be Urbane or Tawny.
So the way I'm thinking about it is we are, so we have the dark hair, and then Urbane and Tawny have this like reddish kind of hair, and there has been established. So basically what I think this is that these 2 people are descendants, split descendants of the same family tree. Because I think you could probably trace the rivals, Urbane and Tawny, to the redheaded Lysander, right? And you could probably trace us, the player character with the darker hair, back to, I guess it'd be like Lysander's, just another fray of the family. And for listeners, the family tree is a little messy, but basically Lysander is an ancestor or a descendant of AZ. I think it's AZ's brother, basically. Yeah. And AZ, so we maybe are a descendant of AZ, and Lysander is a descendant of whoever the brother was, who are all descendants of the royal family of Kalos. That is what I'm thinking. That the hair color, it's crazy. The fact that they have the same haircut is communicating to me that they basically are parallels, right? We can see ourselves in them, which I think is usually a common thing within whatever fantasy story that you're reading, right? There's always, and basically we're the black sheep, right? We just have darker hair, so they're like, so we become the underdog somehow, right? Lysander's so proud with his red, his stupid haircut, right? And I think we're gonna be playing as the underdog in that way. I was chefing up some dinner last night, and I thought of that.
Too convoluted for me.
I don't think it's convoluted at all. I explained it probably a little bit messy. But I think it's really simple. It's just there's 2 split descendants of the throne. That's it.
Yeah, you explained it well. I just think it might be too much for them to get into.
All right. I
don't know.
There are direct rivals. I think that, okay. All right. It's a common fantasy trope.
I mean, there's no rival in Legends Arceus.
Yeah.
What is it?
There's no rival in Legends Arceus either.
What do you mean?
Like you
There's
were saying,
no
there are no
rival?
rivals. I was saying there's no rival in that game either.
What do you mean there's no rivals? There is a rival.
You said it. I was just telling you there isn't in Legends either.
Wait, what did I say?
I don't know. Just move on.
There
Apparently
is a
that's what's
rival.
happening.
These are the
Hoops
rivals.
had something to say.
These are the
I don't know what
rivals.
either of you are saying.
Yeah,
These
go
are the
Hoops.
rivals, and there's a rival in Legends Arceus.
Cool.
All right, Hoops, you're up.
Anyway, I feel like I don't know what it could be, but I do kind of feel like there could be something to it. It's Soul. That's a good point. What Soul said about them basically being mirrors of each other, like the same characters, just different roles. But I could also see it being a little more than that as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that would be, but like I could see a scenario where you get towards the end of the game and there's like this plot twist that I don't know reveals your connection to them. Like maybe you're their long lost brother or sister or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe the Lakua type thing factors into it too, because the other thing, I don't follow the anime super closely, but what I do know is that Gibeon and Lucius, they were like really good friends. So maybe there's sort of a parallel there where this character represents Gibeon, we represent Lucius, and there's like a bond between us or something.
I could
That'd
totally
be
see
pretty
it.
sick. I like
I can
that
totally
a lot.
see it. Yeah.
So
It makes perfect sense for me.
like that.
And I do think that there will be like some kind of connection between the two because it is like our brother or sister. Obviously, like I said, the other one doesn't exist for us, so it's like
Yeah, that part is a little bit interesting. I guess I think about, like we talked about earlier, it's weird to me that this would be the only rival that mirrors us, but that is actually different or whatever. You know, like it's
Yeah, it is
like
weird.
why did they not just make the other gendered character the rival? They must.
I mean,
they didn't do that because there's something else to these people.
If you think about it, though, that was the case in Legends Arceus as well. It just, they didn't have to change the appearance of the other character because it made sense that they looked the same because they were so far in the past, like the implications, like they're our ancestor.
Yeah, but also,
whereas
oh,
like
that's
this
true, that's
time
a good
you
point.
have to change the appearance.
That is true.
Otherwise,
it
they
does
look
function
like our
that.
sister.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think working the other way, it's a descendant, but it's a different type of descendant. Anyways, I'm locking that in. I'm excited about that one. That one felt good. Everything that I consume that's fantasy, medieval, anything, I'm like, this is what shows up. So I'm locking this in. All right, DJ with the super chat says, "Do you hope for gym style games or something new?" I think they're thinking about just in the future. What do you guys think?
Like after Legends ZA, I like gyms. I don't want Legends ZA to be gyms just because, you know, it doesn't, I like that they can play around with it being different. And so I want them to do that with the Legends as long as I have the guarantee that there's the regular stuff that's going to be happening. But
Okay.
I would say I agree. I feel like ZA or just Legends and the titles these are for the fans who want to get experimental, want something different, not the same thing we usually would get. And then you'll have like our generation-based games, which are going to be that traditional RPG experience, turn-based experience, where you can just do your regular Pokemon things, hit the gyms, trials, whatever the case may be, do that. But when you come to these Legend games, new experience, new battle mechanics, new forms, new ways to travel, you know, similar regions with different twists. I think that's where you kind of play with those two.
True. We got another super chat here by Shiny Zillimon. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the super chat. They say there's someone on top of the map resembling Silene. I forget who Silene is, but I pulled the map up.
Cyrus descendant or ancestor.
I think you were just on it a
Is
second
it
ago.
this one?
This yeah, possibly. That's the only thing I can think of that they would look like.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Let's see.
I doubt she's out here. I doubt she's out here.
I mean,
she's been long gone
Yeah.
for a long time.
Purple hair, similar haircut.
I would say it. I mean, if anything, looks more like Annabelle, which is interesting because you
Yes.
have the Looker Bureau, and Annabelle is Looker's partner.
Is that the Looker Bureau?
No, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, it
that
exists.
does
We see
exist
it.
in
This
in,
could be
like,
it.
Lumio City. In fact, we even saw it in the trailer.
Yeah.
So, maybe Annabelle appears in game. That could be cool.
I could see
that would
it.
actually be really cool.
There really is so many. That'll be a fun podcast to do in a couple weeks. Like just looking at every single character in X and Y and just thinking about maybe what their role could be in ZA. That'd be a fun. That'd be a fun video to do. Hey, I'll ask you. I totally forgot to ask you guys before the stream. So let's just break the fourth wall. One, how much time do you have?
They're like, dang, how long are we going, man?
I'm good because I want to talk about some gameplay.
I was gonna bring it up if you didn't say that right now. The next thing I was gonna say was we need to know what you guys think about it.
Well, Hoops, how much time do you have?
I'm good. I'm flexible.
Okay.
So.
Well, the second thing was this is what we did yesterday. I was gonna suggest we go offline after 2 hours. It's been 2 hours and record a Patreon only, just a Patreon only episode. And I'm assuming you guys don't have 2 more hours. So if we're going to do that, it should probably be now.
Oh, I think we got to talk about gameplay on stream, though.
Yeah,
okay. All right.
I agree.
Let's talk gameplay. And
That's
then
what the people want.
And then we'll do that afterwards. Sounds good.
Yeah, we can do champions on not stream.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that.
And it doesn't have to be so long. And you could always just cut whatever, Dusty, if you'd want, and then we can record an intro or whatever.
For sure. Yeah, so gameplay. I mean, listen, I'm loving this. I'm loving this so much. I think every time I see the gameplay, I get more and more excited. The thing that gets me excited is that this is an experience of a Pokemon game that I can't already imagine or do right now in Scarlet and Violet, right? Like, I want to play Scarlet and Violet later tonight. I cannot get this experience. Let me pull up some screenshots. And I think the lighting looks amazing. Like there's so many people saying the game looks bad. And sure, if you zoom in at like one of these windows in the back corner, yeah, that probably looks bad. But who cares? That doesn't interact my experience with the game. It looks great.
It doesn't look amazing compared to like AAA titles, but when you're a Pokemon
fan, are you
fan,
expecting that now?
Yeah,
with Pokemon.
I think in the sphere of Pokemon, it's good for Pokemon. I think that's always like something we kind of have to always like reaffirm. It's good for Pokemon. Does this look like GTA San Andreas or a God of War or something? No, obviously not. But it's good for Pokemon and a clear step up from Scarlet and Violet. When you look back, and then I showed like the screenshot that was like I tweeted out that someone else had to share it, but you can see the clear distinction of it's just sharper, more vibrancy, clearer quality. And sometimes when I go to like Scarlet and Violet, I'm like, this game is like kind of bloomed here. I got mudslides happening on the side of this cliff. Like it's just things like that. I think this game looks a lot cleaner.
This part right here where he goes into like legit gameplay, versus like a set camera type of shot.
Right here.
That's what got me excited when I was watching the trailer, because like you were saying, Infamous, it feels like a step up from Scarlet and Violet. And I also feel kind of just in general, like, yeah, it's not the first thing the first thing I thought wasn't, oh man, these graphics are great when it first came on the screen. But what I did think was, this looks like really good, and like I want to get my hands on this right now, because like I think there is a lot of shots and things about it that do make it look good, even if it's not like the pinnacle of like graphics or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I think even down to the shadows, because that's one thing that JPR brought up a lot, is the shadows are a lot sharper in this game. You go back to Scarlet and Violet, everything looks super hazy on the shadow side, and it's like, once you point it out, you're like, dude, this does not look good. It looks so choppy. You can really see the pixels. This looks a lot smoother, a lot more contrast in those shadows, which makes the game look good. The lighting, even on the roof, looks fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about like it compared to Legends Arceus? Because I had always thought like, man, people are gonna be like kind of freaking out if it doesn't look like Legends Arceus, I guess. I mean, I know that there's meant to be a difference. It's just I didn't know if people would like there's looking like that instead of not keeping the Legends style. Like,
yeah, there's a matter of like
art style.
Yeah, there's a matter of art style, but there's also a matter of like the setting of the game. And I think I think the gameplay is pretty much just going to be the same. Like, not exactly the same. It will be different, but I feel like the function and the feeling will be the same. Like, so you brought up the sound of Arceus, and I'm right there with you. Mm-hmm. I only play that game with headphones on, and which is great because it just enhances the experience. Like toggling, it does so much. That's not visual, right? But I think the style of the game is going to be pretty much the same, except this game's just going to be an improvement. But the other side of the coin, which is something that I struggle with, and that's what you're talking about, Soul, is that like the setting is so different. Like it is just inherently a different setting and vibe because you're, instead of being out in the wilds, you're in a city. It's an urban experience.
I agree totally. I'm talking about just the graphic difference.
Oh, the art
style graphics difference, you know?
I guess you could say there's an art style difference. I look at it as just an improvement.
For sure. No, it's definitely an art style difference. They went for more like a watercolor thing then.
That's true.
Right, but how do you feel about that? Like, is it okay
I liked
for
it.
You? You know?
For that I did. Like, Lumiose would look weird like that,
yeah,
I think.
That's true,
but, But ancient, not ancient, but, super past Hisui.
Yeah, 150 years.
Seems fine.
Yeah.
I think I know what Soul's talking about because going in, when we had no frame of reference, I obviously was thinking just like, oh, it'll be something similar in appearance to Legends Arceus. Mm-hmm. So I was actually like super thrown off by the fact that it was modern day, because I was kind of thinking it would be more of a past type thing. But I was also thrown off by the more standard look of it, I will say, because Arceus looks so distinctive with its style. And I like, with that being like the game that established the Legends like games, that sort of set it apart as a Legends game in my mind, was kind of like its graphical difference in terms of like its art style or whatever. So I was a bit thrown off initially by that. But the thing, and it's a bit of a nitpick, but I will say one of the things I really do like about Legends Arceus that I don't get with the ZA art style is the fact that that art style kind of contributed to the aesthetic of the game, that really helped to make it feel special. Whereas Legends ZA feels like what like Scarlet and Violet would look like, or like Gen 10 would look like, for instance. Like, it's more just like vanilla in that way. But I will say, I think it still looks good. And I think the fact that we're in Kalos, which is basically Paris, is going to do a lot for it too, because there are some shots in the trailer that I get that kind of distinctive like aesthetic vibe from, that just it feels really good. Like when we get to see the hotel looks really like European and Parisian and stuff, and I get those kind of same vibes. So I think the game will do a lot of the same things. It'll just kind of do it in a different way, basically.
The hardest part for me with all that, obviously I agree with what you're saying. The hardest part with me is I just like that aesthetic more, like the whole wilderness, and I think most Pokemon fans like that more, like being in nature and catching Pokemon out in the wild, and just Japanese stuff in general. You know, like I love the old Japanese stuff, and if it was like old timey Paris, like old European, that would have been kind of I think it would have been better in the past personally, but
I agree.
It's a different vibe, and it just might not be somechone's style. That's all I'm saying. As well.
I could if I was like with them and I had my choice, I would have gone past 2. But I can also see why they didn't, because like if they did go past, that means you're basically setting an expectation that all these games going forward are going to be in the past, and I can see them wanting to like switch it up, so that the games don't feel like too much of the same.
Which is funny because there were so many things.
Now there's 2, so it's starting to form a pattern, right?
Yeah.
Which is also probably why they did like the double up on Johto starters. So it's like,
like, nope,
stop saying it has to be this way. We're doing what we want. All y'all shut up,
I mean, literally, that was the first thing that we did 3 years ago. As soon as we got Legends Arceus. I mean, Hoops, you You pioneered this with like, what would a Legends Kanto game look like? What would a Legends Kalos game look like? Right? What would a Legends Unova game? And those are fun, but we all we all did this. It's actually a good thing. We all did it from the perspective of if that game was in the past, and now we can, once we learn about this game more and we develop some, quote unquote patterns, then we can be like, all right, like I'm gonna be looking forward to a new Hoops video that's like, what would a Legends Unova game look like in modern day or the future?
Like I think touching on like the Kiriman Unova, like I think with having this wider range, like, hey, we can go a little more attributed to like this specific style to match the culture versus something a little bit more plain and Pokemon like.
Yeah.
With having a wider margin, if you think of like a Unova, you can touch more into like this like medieval art kind of game style where it has like less saturated colors. It's a little bit darker, a little bit gloomier, but it kind of plays into that era of time, right?
Yeah.
I think it just gives you a wider range versus like, hey, this is gonna look like a Scarlet Violet game, or it's going to be this like Hisui looking / Johto game. So like, if they did like a Johto style game, I guess them dipping back into like this Legends Arceus style. But if they do something like Unova, they change it up a bit, make it, obviously just fit that aesthetic a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think them doing a modern game now frees them up also to do another past game later, because if we got Legends Arceus and then they did Legends Johto, those would feel too similar. But if you break it up with a modern Kalos game in between, then that gives them the excuse to go back to that. So
like old future.
Let's hope,
because I think like this is just crazy far speculation, nothing too crazy, but is like maybe for like a Alola based game, it's set more in the future, but it's like giving more cultivation to like the ultra space, right? That city that they have, I forget the name of it, but if that plays a bigger part into it, so maybe you're going in and out of wormholes a little bit, and that's a little bit more future sided versus like something if you did like a Johto where it's obviously more past set, so they can jump back and forth if they like to. They, again, just having more range and options in between that space.
Yeah, like anything that's
the
in
thing, the third one, whatever it may be, could be like in the far future, just so that they just like do a whole thing,
we got past, present, future. That could be cool.
Future,
or like
also
spacey,
It's also very thematic that they went with future, because we just like Legends Arceus was set in the past, and then we got Scarlet and Violet that was all about time travel, and now we're getting this game that's like futuristic. Sort of. So I don't think that means anything for the game per se, but they're clearly going for a theme with the recent games.
Something I want to bring up, and then
gameplay.
We should talk about.
Are we going to talk about the gameplay?
But what I want to bring up, I haven't seen anyone talk about this. Right, in Legends Arceus, it was so great. It was so cool. I thought to get these like old versions of Pokeballs that we were able to craft. Right. Crafting was a big part of it, right? You can see right here on the screen. You can see right here on the screen that there's a heavy ball, and as you move over, okay, now we're looking at Legends ZA, and you can see we just have regular Pokeballs. I've never thought about this, but is crafting returning? Possibly not. Also, could we see new Pokeballs? Perhaps. Isn't there a Pokeball factory in Kalos?
It's not in Lumiose, but it's in.
I think,
and you know what? There's a Pokeball store in Lumiose as well, and it even has like unobtainable Pokeballs or like on display. You can't actually buy them in the game, but they're in the shop.
I guess for like a Decidueye long reacher in the anime, they had an episode where Roy Dot were like testing out these different Pokeballs. There's like some that they kind of mimic like the flying, or like the really far light blue ball over in Legends Arceus. It kind of mimics that, but it has like wings on it and wheels and stuff like that. So it could be like them dabbling into that a little bit with like a modern version of those same Pokeballs for these specific catching experiences, because that did attribute to Legends Arceus was like, how do I catch this Pokemon? Do I use this heavy ball that like it feels genuinely heavy? If I don't throw it like high enough, then it's just gonna smack the ground. Or if you do have like that lighter ball, it's shooting all the way across. That's the only way you can get the Gyarados, right?
Yeah, what is it called?
So
the aerial
jet ball.
The jet ball.
Jet ball, wing ball, feather ball.
I think they'll come back. I just think there'll be modern versions of them.
And I think there will be cool.
Crafting.
I like that.
I do think there will be crafting.
See, and then when we trade these Pokemon into Gen 10, will they be in the strange ball, or can we actually have them in That because man, look, Strange Ball's cool and all. I was so upset when I couldn't have my Hisuian Pokemon and their wooden Hisui Pokeballs. That hurt.
Yeah,
weird,
absolutely. I thought that was
Or
cool.
even like taking that jet ball, just like with the colors, you make a modern version of that. You put like Altaria in that Pokeball just because the colors match up so well. Like little stuff like that. Would be really cool.
Yeah, I really wonder.
Gameplay?
Definitely gameplay. This is a good segue into gameplay. But I saw Jake said in Legends Arceus, you're really like the character's really winding up for like a pretty far throw. If you look at it in this one, your guy's just like holding it.
He's a pro.
He's either a pro or he's not throwing the Pokeball very far, which would suggest, we're not getting the heavy ball. We're not getting the jet ball. It's really just and maybe we can't even throw a Pokeball that far.
It's a level 4 fletchling,
I wouldn't say that it's a suggestion of that, but it could be like that. Yeah, the base doesn't throw as far because in Hisui it's this big open expansive space. Whereas now, like you see in that image, if you go back to that one, you've got a coffee shop like right behind you.
You're gonna break a window.
Right. I don't need to be chucking my Pokeball as far because it's more enclosed,
I will say that they, in another screenshot, we talked about it yesterday, they did show like the like eyeball of the Pokemon that is like can see you, and they do mention it in the like when she's talking about it, you can like crouch and hide and throw a Pokeball kind of thing. And if the Pokemon sees you, they might run away or attack you and all that. Like I think all that is still coming back. So if you look, you see there's the eye one right there on the Flaffy. Over. Yeah, there you go. So like at the top, that Flaffy has seen you and it's like fully engaged in battle with you now.
Oh yeah, right here.
That was something that was in Legends Arceus. So that already tells us that.
All right, let's talk gameplay.
I mean, they could have nerfed the Pokeball.
This is gameplay.
I know.
Yeah, this actually is gameplay now. They could have nerfed the Pokeball's throwing distance, so that like the feather, jet, wing ball equivalents mean a little more.
Yeah, definitely. I think so I cannot get the image of. I can't get this out of my mind. Hippowdon. Yes, Hippowdon on the roof. That's a separate thing that I can't get out of my mind. But Hippowdon, that screenshot.
Did you see the meme?
Yeah, that screenshot of Hippowdon where he sets up, what is it, the stealth rocks, and because switching is part of like that effect. But in the context of this game, stealth rocks can do something different. Stealth rocks could function like how it functions in the game. It's now a battle. It's like a what do they call it? Like a I don't know, field effect or whatever.
Hazard.
A hazard, yeah. It's a hazard in a way that now there's mind games, right? There's mind games where it's like your enemy can attack you, but they're gonna get hurt. So like, are they gonna try to go around? It almost works like a force field or like a protect. Every move that we have, a lot of the moves that we have that we know will function differently in this game, which is really cool.
Battles are going to be so hard in this game. Like, I just thought about, remember how with basically the same battle style as the mainline games, just with Agile and Strong now, it was so hard taking on Volo. For so many people, myself included, there'll be that one guy in chat who's like, "Oh no, that was the easiest match ever."
I beat it with the
like,
it was not that hard. It was not that hard.
It was
hard.
It
was super hard. And there are tons of videos. Go watch people's Volo's reactions. You watch so many.
It was hard. It was so hard.
They beat the Giratina and they go, "Oh, finally!" And then it does the other form and beats the last Pokemon.
I almost lost, but Cleavor came in clutch at the end and just.
What was your team?
I had to use potions.
I don't even know what my team was.
There's no way around it.
But like I'm thinking like, but now with this battle style that I have not been playing a version of for years, the boss battle's gonna suck. Like I might not be able to beat this game, y'all. I'm not good at action games.
You'll learn.
No, you'll learn. There was definitely a learning curve for me.
I need to know how they feel about it though, because it is it's big. It's a big change to the Pokemon formula.
Huge.
Definitely.
I don't know if Hoops you want to start.
Yeah, I'll start. I love it because this is something that going back to even probably like Gen 7, Gen 8, I was thinking about, and I was like, oh, I would if they did that in a game and I was kind of likening it to, oh, how cool would it be if there was a Pokemon game where like when you got into the battle, it was like Pokken style battles and it was just free flowing like that. So I've been kind of like just like wishing for this for a long time, and I love it. Obviously, it's different from the turn-based stuff, and the turn-based stuff is always going to have its place because they do worlds and VGC and everything like that. But I said it in my in like my analysis video. I think this is going to be what Legends Arceus did for catching Pokemon with just like the free catching where you can just do it whenever. I think it does that same thing for battling and just raises the standard. Do I think it's going to be in every game? No, obviously. It's going to be interesting to see what Gen 10 does, because with Scarlet and Violet, we saw it do something similar to Legends, but then it was like pretty main series and like tame and safe.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that will be in Gen 10. But I think this definitely sets like a new precedent that like, yeah, this is how battles are now. And like I'm super for that, because this is like where Pokemon should go. Like it has the potential to be great. And I think there are some things about it that sort of that like they're so beloved, like turn-based battles, for instance, and they're so integral, but they also can limit it from like doing some really cool things. So I think this is kind of like a step in that kind of direction.
I feel like this was the vision that like a lot of people had from the anime, right? Like, I mean, yeah, like Infamous, like you watch, right? Like that's the dream. You watch the anime and like you use double team, and it's not just like, oh, you're harder to get hit. It's like, no, that's like a strategy, and then you can attack with the double team going, and then it's like, there's mind games there. You can stack. Yeah, you can like every attack can become a combo. It's so much fun, right? I always think of the line of Ash being like, Meganium, use your tail, or whatever. Bayleaf, use.
Ash didn't have him.
Or what was it? It was like Bayleaf, use your, or Pikachu, use your tail. I don't know. It was always like, use your, punch the ground.
It was the tail.
Out of the box, like battle style. I think that's gonna be a key factor here for me. This is actually like some one things I was super excited to talk about, because I remember I just peeked into like one of the previous pods you guys were having, and I don't remember if Soul, you were like not loving the gameplay initially.
We're trying to get through it.
No. I'm like you though, in a sense. Like I feel like we should have got you on day one out here so that we could get your real feelings about Chikorita being in the game, because that would have been like the raw Jaleel like hate, and that's like how I felt the first day. But I haven't even told the boys this, but I've been warming up to this more.
Yeah.
Really?
I feel it.
I want to ask though, because I saw your guys' reaction too, and for me, I was just like, unless you're like a super competitive type player, I could not fathom how you would not like this. And I know you're not a competitive guy, so I just want to know like where you're coming from as far as like,
it's less about competitive and more just like that's what Pokemon is to me. Do you know what I mean?
Traditional experience.
Yeah, the tradition. I've been playing since Red and Blue, and like I still want like a back sprite of my guy and the front guy.
Listen, I'm with you on that.
That's all I want.
I'm with you on that.
That's fair.
I don't need it to get to this point, but I understand that I'm not the like end all be all of everything, and things are changing, and that's fine. I'm happy if this stays in Legends. I'm very happy if it eventually gets into like the mainline games, and I'm sure like some of it will. That's fine, but like totally takes over the main part in core games, then I'm like really sad. I can deal with it, but I will be sad.
For context too about Soul, that helps understand where he's coming from this. I distinctly remember him complaining a little bit. I actually was not going to make the old joke, so let the record show they made the old jokes, not
You've
me.
made that joke 3 days in a row.
But
I thought he was going to.
I distinctly remember when we were gearing up towards Indigo Disc, him complaining that it was all double battles, because typically in the mainline story of Pokemon, it's all single battles.
Yeah.
He's just that's just what Pokemon's like become to him.
He is just the purest of pure, is what I'm getting.
Oh yeah,
apparently
he is a Gen 1er when it comes to gameplay. Like not the Pokemon. He's not like Doug Trio's great and Titan's the worst thing ever made, but he's a Gen 1er with gameplay.
I can probably agree.
I think that's fair. So to like quickly touch on, because gameplay was one of the big things. I'm excited, but I'm yet worried. The kind of like quote I made is like, this game kind of feels like you're able to create like your own headcanon battles from the anime, but now it's not just in your head, it's in your hands. You have the ability to really build this out a lot better. and I love it because I now thinking on the terms of like the Pokemon anime. I've been watching this like my entire life, right? And even watching like battles from the PWC with Ash, right? The battle with I think JPR brought this up, or maybe it was Zach Toshi. You know, the battle with Volkner, where they were switching out Pokemon with like using Volt Absorb and then like dropping I think it was Thunder Wave and then switching back into Rotom to drop a Hex. Like just the complexity that we can like drop with these is going to be really sick. And I'm really excited about like the different combos I can connect, dropping a Stealth Rocks and swapping to another Pokemon to pivot, go around, hit them in the back with an Aura Sphere. There's just a lot of cool things I can do, and I can actually create those more anime style battles in my head, and I think that's really, really sick. Because like, what's the strategy now if I want to do something with like toxic spikes, right? How does that factor in? And, just utility moves have a new layer to the gameplay versus just like protect. Flavor. Cool, I'm not getting hit. Yeah, it just adds a little bit more sauce to it. But there is concerns with this battle style. I have played games similar to this. I know a lot of people are comparing it to Xenoblade. I've been kind of comparing it a little bit more to like the newer Final Fantasy games because you have like a similar setup where you have like these cooldown on moves and things. But like, I know there's a cooldown for Megas. They've like established there's like a meter bar for that, so we can't like spam it, which is good because that's one conversation that we had on our pod was like, how do we balance Mega? Because they've always just felt slightly unbalanced for most of them, and this seems to kind of scale that down. But the bigger questions I had was like speed based, right? How do we fully control these Pokemon? And it's obviously not hinting at this in the first trailer. And if there's slow Pokemon, like something like a Snorlax, is he going to get hit like pretty much almost every single time, or does he have like a slight adjustment in his speed? Like, how does that work versus something that is speed? You're like, I don't know. Like, say Reggie, like he's not gonna be in the game, but like imagine that Pokemon speed is insane. Is it gonna move fast? Because it's like actual sprite model. It's going to Violet does not move quick, despite it being a very fast Pokemon. Yeah. So like, how do those little nuances work? I'm not sure about. And then also too, like things like forms, right? Aegislash is already busted. How do I swap between those two forms back to back? Yeah. Like defense,
I mean, I'm sure that
I love this so much.
It's hard coded in, kind of like Cherim was in Legends Arceus. There are no abilities there, but Cherim was like hard coded to like change its form, and Regigigas was hard coded to have like basically slow start. So I would imagine like with Aegislash, they'll hard code him to when he uses King Shield, he's gonna go into his shield form, and then when he uses any attacking move, he'll switch back into
it could be in that form, and then until you switch back into King Shield. Okay,
it could be a move thing.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I think my bigger thing now is just like combination of moves and then movement base, right? Because like, is it a thing where I'm like, cool, do I make half the team slower, sturdier Pokemon to be able to take these hits, or do I just build a speed-based team where I'm just swapping in and out, getting behind?
I do like the idea of like being able to use like instead of burning a turn every time you want to use a status move, like running off to the corner and using Swords Dance because you have like maybe 5 seconds of that move where you're safe, you got a far enough distance, and then as they approach, then you have to like time it right where then you can get the attack in, like stuff like that is really engaging, I think.
To add to that, right? Because I know a lot of people like to pull this up in the Mega conversation. Is like Mega Garchomp. Oh, use regular Garchomp because it's better, bro. First of all, when people talk to me about it, I always talk about it in the anime sense. Speed is relative in the anime. Pikachu is killing legendaries. Like let's just get that
right.
Right.
Dude, I love this. How does that factor in? Because obviously we know Megas are coming back. Mega Garchomp is a pretty popular Pokemon, just Garchomp in general. But we know the speed on Mega Garchomp is lower than base. How does that come into effect? Obviously,
good point.
How do those work? Does it really matter at the end of the day? Because we know that PLA had like adjusted stats to kind of mimic its battle system and agile and the other style. But how does that work now for Megas? We know it's not an item, and it's kind of looking like abilities aren't back. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but I didn't see it on the website. Usually they'll say like the Pokemon ability and description. But he doesn't say that for
the fact that
that's what we know about
it. I would say like that's a good indication that they won't come back because it was that way with Legends Arceus and Let's Go as well.
Yep, but not confirmed either way.
Yeah, but not confirmed.
Jaleel, you get me excited, man. This is so good.
Another thing that you guys have been touching on that I didn't think before, but it just makes me all the more excited for this is the fact that this battle system for me. It does the impossible because it's going to make me want to use moves that don't actually damage the Pokemon.
Right.
There's the memes that you ignore those as a kid. But like now, I want to use agility. I want like double team. Like that is going to open up a whole new avenue as far as just casual play.
Yeah.
And that's something that I never would have foreseen me wanting to do.
Tell me this. Have you ever taught your Pokemon Odor Sleuth?
Absolutely not.
Never.
No. Delete.
That move is gone. That move is gone. Goodbye.
What is Odor Sleuth?
What does I never actually looked
I
at
have no
it.
idea.
You know, it's like
Identifies ghost types, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it lets you hit ghost types.
You're a
But I can
ghost.
That's actually kind of a.
Yeah, but you're not
I
going to use that in a
totally-
playthrough.
Right.
I can totally see like random moves like that becoming like actually clutch in this game, which is going to be a lot of fun. Because I never, like, you brought up the Stealth Rocks having to actually like maneuver around them. I feel like that's going to be sort of a thing more or less for a lot of the moves where it adds a new dimension to it.
Absolutely.
That you didn't consider in the turn-based stuff. So
yeah. And there's still seems to be like the ability to like really also quick return and send out a new Pokemon. That's still we saw that in the trailer. Like you can also do that. You know, it's like, oh, this is a bad matchup. Quick, let me basically anything you do is unique because you don't burn a turn. Like that's huge.
Yeah.
It's a different thing.
It also, I mean, I know that like swapping Pokemon, obviously there's a lot of strategy to that, but like you don't have to burn a turn to do it now. So now you can basically combine the move sets of your Pokemon and be like, okay, if I use like Rotom and use its Hex, like Infamous was saying, and then I swap into this other Pokemon right after and use its move, it's going to create this crazy combo and I can get it off right away and don't have to spend like 3 turns to do that.
I think it's going to just add so much more depth to this gameplay. And what I was like, we were talking about when I was on the Rocket Pod, I was like, hey, just the amount of engagement. This is not a Pokemon game where I'm going to be leaning back in the chair, smashing A, sipping my drink. No, I might have to literally just sit forward and be like, I need to focus or I'm going to lose this battle. Like it automatically just engages you a lot more because it's real time. You need to be moving, you need to be thinking, and it keeps you engaged. So you're going to have a lot more fun versus just kind of sitting back, relaxing. And again, like Hoop said, it gives you the capability to use moves you would never use otherwise.
I love this so much.
We know. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say it's over 2.5 hours. We still haven't even talked about mega evolutions in this battle thing. So I think what we should do, I just want to read this last super chat. We're gonna log off, record a Patreon episode. It should be up by the end of the day. If you want to become a Patreon supporter, or obviously I say Patreon, but it's YouTube. You can be a YouTube channel member as well. You get access to the episode. So just
not only that, but we do have to. In just 10 days, on March 11th, we will be doing a live call-in show on our Discord. So in order to get access to the Discord, become a channel member or become a patron. You get access to it, and then on March 11th, you'll be able to jump in there. What we'll do is we'll open up the floor to you. You can,
literally
raise
call
your hand.
in.
We'll let you in with us, and you'll be like talking about, hey, I saw this thing in the trailer, and we'll be like, oh my God, we didn't even notice that, and then. Junichi Masuda will call you up and be like, you leaked our whole game. Yeah.
So we're going to keep talking. If you guys want to support the show, you can. There's a link right in the description. You're watching on your tablet or you're watching on your phone. If you're watching on a TV, you might just need to go to you might have to look us up on your phone. But right in the description of this video, there's a link to sign up for our Patreon or our YouTube channel. And you can just $5. You get access to this next episode that we're going to keep recording, as well as everything else that we've recorded over the last 2 years, all of our exclusive content and interviews, and you can get on the show live. Also, buy merch if you want to support, and we'll see you over there. Actually, hold on. And then
Check it coming out. Thanks for coming out.
Hoops and Infamous. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the last plug. I'm sorry, guys. I did this last time as well. We got Infamous Trainer right here, almost at 100,000 subscribers. I've been watching this stuff for a long time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Tons of Fakemon content. He's making his own series, his own what would you call them? Like your own like anime inspired series.
Oh yeah, just dropped that this morning.
It's just 4
Pokemon
hours
Calamity,
ago.
the anime series. Yeah, just like trying to put my foot in the fire. My channel started with anime very early on. I obviously love Fakemon and on my second region now. It's kind of a great way to now cultivate both those things together, continue Ash's story, but then evolve up just themes, ideas I have.
Yeah.
Give them new Pokemon. I actually love the theming, and I've already, if successful, I already have some of those things like planned out for them. So can't wait for that adventure, and obviously continue the YouTube grind, man. 100K
Absolutely,
so
man.
close.
No, absolutely.
My
And
guy spent all night working on this stuff. So
I love
Oh yeah,
it.
let me tell you
y'all
something.
should give
Your
him
Oh
boy
a
yeah,
follow.
dude. You mentioned. Oh my God.
Bro,
We
I'm
were
on
gonna lead
4
with
hours
this.
of sleep right now.
You said you went to bed at 7 o'clock in the morning,
7 a.m.
and you're
Yeah.
still on the show. And you're on the show with us right now.
Still here. I literally like.
You seem like with energy too.
I know,
you know?
yeah. Shout out to this energy drink that's like really carrying me right now. But yeah, I literally like finished that video, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna make. Bro, random food thought. I'm a big foodie. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm gonna make egg McMuffins in the morning. We've been like on this diet. We're
Yum.
trying to eat right.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, I don't have any muffins. So I went to Walmart, got some muffins, got some eggs because eggs were insane.
Yeah.
And then I got home, realized I never bought the muffins. Had to go back to Walmart to go buy the muffins. Came back home,
Dude.
and it's like
Man.
It's like 7:15. I finally get in the bed at 7:30, and then like set the alarm so I could wake up. Make
Oh my
breakfast,
God,
and then-
dude. Well, thank you for being here with us. I mean, that's honestly,
course,
I feel
man.
good.
Yeah, thanks so
I
much.
feel bad.
No, you're good. This is on me. This is honestly though, it's probably almost like an every weekend, every other weekend thing where I'm like working and then I just kind of just keep going because I usually for my job I start work on Friday at 6 a.m. So I've been up for I was up for a while.
Bro, appreciate it.
at that
Appreciate it.
point.
So yeah, go subscribe to Infamous, and we also have
Infamous
of course,
is in the chat. We put his link. I've got Hoops' link. I did also plug Rocket Radio, the podcast.
Oh yeah, your
that I'm famous
podcast.
on.
Yeah, which we may or may
thank
not
you,
be
thank you.
collaborating with next week, but that's
Oh, yeah.
just speculation, and I don't know if it's a secret, but that might be happening.
Maybe.
Yeah. And then of course, Hoops and Hip Hop. You know him, you love him. This guy's been around forever. We were getting comments earlier. They were like, Hoops, you got to make some Legends Arceus, some Legends ZA music, some remixes. When's that happening?
I think I do need that in my life, man. Not to put pressure, but
I would honestly love to. The reason kind of why I have is because I put all my stuff nowadays on like Spotify and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've been the other reason why I've just kind of been focusing on YouTube stuff and videos and things like that.
Naturally,
So that's another reason why I've not been doing music as much. But the other major reason is because to get something on Spotify, at least like you go through like a distributor.
Sure.
And the people that I go through, they're like, I know it's a little different depending on who you go through, but they are basically like, in order to put this up on Spotify and like all the official like listening platforms, there has to be like a official release of this like soundtrack or whatever. And so like older games I can do that with because they released all those, but some of the newer games like Legends Arceus and things like that, they didn't for a while. So I just kind of like pumped the brakes a little bit because I was like, I'm not going to be able to put this on Spotify or Apple Music, so I might as well wait till they do that.
So is it like a legal limitation?
Sort of, but I know it's not that big a deal because I know there's other distribution platforms that like you can just do whatever. So it's like, it's not that big a deal, but it's also like, it's like if you want to play by the rules, that's how you're supposed to do it. And like music is kind of like what I'm doing on the back burner, so to speak. So I'm kind of just like, I'll just wait till it's like easier to do.
Sure.
But with that being said,
well, you got a lot of fans.
plans. Part of my plan for this year in general, because like I going into this year, I was like, this has got to be a banger year after the drought we had last year.
Yeah.
So as a part of that, I was like, I want to get back into music. So my goal is to eventually start releasing music again, and then when I do, I want to release like one a month or something like that. So
That'd be sick.
So that is what I'm kind of cooking in the background. So
love it, man. I love it.
Love it.
Stay tuned.
No,
And then
absolutely.
obviously on the channel, I'll have stuff like you're seeing on screen too. So.
Yeah, his channel's on the screen.
We love it.
Listen, I'm a fan of both of you guys. I was excited to have you guys both on the same episode because you both have a passion for Fakemon, which I also do. So, and I'm hoping to make a return on DustyGogoat with some Fakemon videos. So I'll be hitting you guys both up. Yeah.
I think we speculated the most with you two, which is crazy.
Yeah, which is cool.
Actually,
We've been, dude. It's like you've got the stages of grief. There's like the stages of getting a Pokemon game, because each of our streams we've done. This is our.
They're all different.
This is our 5th stream that we've done, including the Pokemon Day reactions one, and exactly they are all different, and not just because like the people on it are different. They just genuinely. Each one has been like what we've talked about is different. It's like the vibe is different. It's pretty cool. It's been nice.
Oh yeah.
Well, I want to give a shout out to you guys too, because I mentioned at the beginning. I don't know if we were actually on air, but I mentioned how you got name dropped by Arlo.
Yeah.
And I've also been seeing
that's big. I didn't even. What episode was that in his Legends EA video?
It was in his video about the on his like second channel.
I'm gonna have to hit him up and be like,
I've seen other people like I've seen other people who are like big as well, and who have like a big following. I've been seeing people name drop like that as well. So
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Like you guys are making a name for yourselves. So
appreciate it. I mean, listen, you guys also help us when we collaborate. You know, Hoops, you've given us a platform. Quite a bit recently, so that's been it all helps. It all helps.
Yeah, and it's like what Game Boy Luke and Lord Keeper Toby were on last night, and they were saying this: when one of us succeeds, all of us succeed.
Absolutely.
You know, and so it's so nice.
Luke has a saying: it's like rising tides raise all.
Yeah.
I've thought about that a lot, and it's definitely true.
Mm-hmm.
No, I love that.
I think to piggyback off that, like you guys, your work ethic, guys, you guys have been killing it between the tweets,
thank you,
and then pushing the merch, and then
we got a
back-to-back streams.
It's all Dusty.
And I think like even so, like it pushes like us on the Rocket Radio side. Like we're like, bro, we got
dude.
Start cooking,
listen,
dog. We got and we've been
I saw it.
You guys have been.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I saw you guys tweeting, and I was like, oh, they're seeing what we're doing.
Yeah, bro. We're like, yo, we gotta start. We're like we gotta start pushing this avenue, doing this, and I think it definitely like obviously with our rebrand, reinvigorated some things for us,
for sure.
And really wanting to push the method there. But you guys have been killing it. We're like every time we're like, bro, those guys are going at it again with another stream. I'm like refreshing my YouTube. I'm like, these guys with another one.
Well, listen, I'll say this: I've pretty much sacrificed the DustyGogoat YouTube channel this year just so I could go like 100% on the podcast, because I just see this is, I don't know, yapping about Pokemon is my genre, and so I'd like to go back to Dusty, but I gotta make sure it's unique from the podcast, and I think that angle will be Fakemon, and I think I've got a format that I'll be able to kind of integrate and kind of matches with what we're already doing here, but it'll be on DustyGogoat. That's my I gotta make some action soon before I lose monetization.
Dude, make sure to do that.
That old chestnut.
Were you gonna say something, Hoops?
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
All right, so last super chat, and then we're gonna not end, but go on to the Patreon episode, Patreon and YouTube channel members. Cosimo with the $2. They set this at 4:30. Thank you. Sorry to get to it so late, but I love this. What if Cyndaquil is distributed like Torchic was, which is so cool.
I imagine Hoops would like that.
So cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then maybe
we get a Mega Cyndaquil to just go alongside it, and that would almost make me think Gen 5 remakes are coming, where we get a Mega, where we get Mega Snivy and Mega, a Mega Oshawott Samurott.
Maybe.
I don't want to keep this going forever. But
yeah, I know we gotta go to the next thing.
That reminded me of like what will this game do as far as events? Because obviously you had like events for all the mythicals and Arceus. Like, I'm excited to see what they do for like
the
Kalos' mythical
as
well.
All right, listen, let's go to Patreon. This is good. I like this.
That's a good tease.
Yeah.
Let's go to Patreon. Let's go to Patreon. If you guys want to watch this, down in the description, you can join the Patreon. You can join the YouTube. $5 gets you into the door. You get access to everything. Go continue. Watch the rest of our show. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys very soon. Bye.